Bhujbal Knowledge City, the part of Amity League of Colleges, driven by a single-minded focus on imparting quality education. Amity BKC Institute of Pharmacy established in 2006 with a mission to develop students socio-technically. The institute has maintained the quality right from the establishment, as it reflects from the accreditation and various awards which college has achieved. Amity IOP is the first NBA accredited pharmacy institute in Nasik region. Amity BKC Institute of Pharmacy has been approved by AICTE PCI and is affiliated to Savitribai Phule, Pune University. Amity BKC IOP offers full-time courses in Bachelor of Pharmacy, Masters of Pharmacy and PhD. Institute stands for its excellent, well-lighted and ventilated ambience with range of facilities like classroom which are equipped with an overhead projector, speakers, smart board, etc. Well-equipped and spacious laboratories which provide experimental learning experience. State-of-art pilot plant simulating the pharmaceutical industry with range of equipments for formulation, development and evaluation. Institute has separate instrument room having range of sophisticated instruments as per the need of industry and research work like HPLC, UV, FTIR, etc. Heart of Institute, the library, one of its own kind with open access, great ambience and various national and international book collections to give great learning experience. Institute is also a well with gymnasium which is equipped with a number of professional electronic and manual universal fitness machines along with indoor sport facilities and music room. Campus also has an amphitheater for social gathering and expression of students. The institute believes that the quality of faculty member and their commitment to excellence is the core competence towards its development. With this thought, institute have more than 50% doctorates, 200 plus publications, 5 patents, 1 copyright and 16 book publications. Our students are encouraged to take part in national and international competitions and events as part of their curriculum. To add feather on hat, we have Ms. Archana Kapse, Air 3 in GPAT 2019, Mr. Aditya Darade, Air 1 in GPAT 2014 and Mr. Parag Mehta, Air 15 in GPAT 2010, who have qualified national level exam GPAT with dignified ranks. Amity IOP has signed 8 Memorandum of Understanding, that is MOU, amongst them are Japanese Industry, Asahi Kasei and Malaysian University Technology Mara. Amity Institute of Pharmacy provide a platform for expressing students and showcase their hidden talent through Antaranga and Amity Utsav annual social gathering. Success comes down to you with appropriate attitude, effort and focus, which is certified by various achievements which institute has received. Best Magazine Award by SPPU, Champions Trophy at National Pharmacy Week, Award for the Best Research Paper and Presentation, Best College Award by Student Development Board SPPU for Student Welfare Activities. Institute has also been honored with highest rank Platinum by AICTE C2 survey for its outstanding linkage with industries for consequently 2 years, which surely strengthen the institute and students to survive in this brave new world of technology. Bhujbal Knowledge City Institute of Pharmacy, the place where your search ends.
Very good morning to all. I, Neelam Dashputra, Faculty of Med Institute of Pharmacy. Once again, a warm welcome to the fourth day of 1 week faculty development program on New Age Educational Standards for Teachers in association with APTI, organized between 14 Feb to 18 Feb by Med Institute of Pharmacy, Bhujbal Knowledge City, Nasik. I extend a very warm greeting to Honorable Dr. Shefali Bhujbal Ma'am, Chief Administrator of MET BKC Nasik, and respected Principal Dr. Sanjay Shirsagar Sir for their continuous support and motivation behind the event. And kind regards to Dr. MP Patil Sir and Dr. Gitanjali Devkar Ma'am being as an FDP coordinator. Briefly, I summarize the last 3 days of FDP. On first day of the FDP, the inaugural function was started with the welcome speech by Principal Dr. Sanjay Sagar sir, followed by brief information about FDP by Dr. MP Patil sir, FDP coordinator, and FDP digitally inaugurated by chief guest Dr. Kakre sir. Also, sir guided on importance of teaching learning in quality education. Further, Dr. Chitlange sir gave details on ranking framework and overview of NIRF, area and AICT C2. Second session was conducted by Dr. Rani Kankate ma'am on establishment of IIC and role of MIC Government of India. Third session was delivered by Dr. Srivastava sir on implantable medical devices for spinal cord regeneration. On the second day of FDP, first session was delivered by Mr. Gurav sir on detailed design, thinking and entrepreneurship. Second session was conducted by Ms. Bhalerao ma'am, had shared her expertise on incubation center setup. Further, Dr. Karima Sheikh ma'am highlighted how to plan a research project. On the third day of FDP, respected Dr. Patrawale ma'am had talked about research grant agencies opportunities to academicians. Further, Dr. Kokare sir had guided on how to write a research proposal. Next session was delivered by Dr. Bhambere sir on new educational tools, and the last session was delivered by Mr. Swaminathan sir on recent advancement in packaging technology. I hope you are enjoying all different knowledge boosting sessions and getting benefits from them for 3 days, and now ready for attending today's session. Today's theme of FDP is Roadmap for Quality Sustenance and Quality Improvement in Higher Education Institutions, NAC and NBA. So today we have a lineup with 5 sessions. First session on discussion on criteria of NBA by Dr. Sandeep Sonone sir. Second session on introduction to process of NAC by Dr. Santosh Bhujbal sir. Third session on discussion on criteria of NAC by Dr. Pawan Udavan sir. And fourth session on pharma biotech and skill set development by Dr. Aniket Mali sir. Without further delay, we will proceed for today's session. Now, I would like to request Mr. Ahire sir to introduce our first resource person. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Good morning. Good morning to all. On the behalf of MIT's Institute of Pharmacy Nasik, I, Professor Eknath Aire, welcomes you all for the today's first session of National EFDP on New Age Educational Standards for Teachers. It's my immense pleasure to introduce our today's esteemed speaker for this session, Dr. Sandeep Sonone sir. Sir is currently working as an associate professor in the Department of Pharmaceutical Chemistry at MIT's Institute of Pharmacy Nasik. Sir, having total 15 years of experience in academic, sir having expertise in the areas impurity and the degradation product analysis, analysis of the dosage forms, method validation, use of QBD, design of experiment in force degradation studies and analytical method development, synthesis and characterization of impurities and degradation products, as well as sir having expertise in the estimation of the drugs in biological fluids. Sir completed his master from the in the pharmaceutical chemistry from R.C. Patel Institute of Pharmacy, Sirpur in 2006. Sir has also completed his PhD in the pharmaceutical sciences from JNTU, Hyderabad. Sir is currently approved as PhD guide in pharmaceutical chemistry, affiliated to Savitribai Phule Pune University. Sir uh, Sir has guided over 41 MPharm students and presently 5 students admitted for PhD under the guidance of Sops, sir. Sir, having some awards in his credit, sir have received Young Researchers Award in 2020 by Institute of Scholars, Bengaluru. Sir has published total 45 plus research papers in peer-reviewed journals and 2 textbooks in his credit. Sir also holding 1 copyright for the software MedStat, which is useful for the performing the calculations involved in multi-factor regression models, response surface methodology, and the sequential simplex optimization. And sir currently handling the responsibilities at the MET Institute in as a NBA coordinator. Uh, it includes planning and execution of the whole NBA process. Sir also handling the responsibility as a coordinator of the Institute Research Review Committee at MET IOP. Today, Dr. Sonone sir is going to enlighten us on the topic discussion on criteria of NBA. With this brief introduction, I welcome you, sir. I request to Dr. Sonone sir to proceed with the session. Please, sir, over to the Sonon sir.
Okay, thank you, Ire sir, for the nice introduction of me. Thank you, respected Kshesagar sir, for giving me an opportunity to present the criteria of that the NBA. Okay, fine. Let me share the screen. Okay, sir, is the slide visible?
Yes, sir. It's visible. Please, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, so today I'm going to discuss on the introduction to the process of that the NBA, and we are going to discuss the different criterias of that the NBA. Now, the purpose of that the accreditation by the NBA is to promote and recognize the excellence in technical education at the UG and at the PG level. Now, talking about that, the benefits of that the accreditation. So, see that the accreditation is the tool that the stakeholder use to monitor, access, and evaluate the standards and quality of that the education of a student that receives at that the college, university, or other institution of that the higher learning. Now, there are some major benefits for that the enrolled students to receive by attending an accreditation institute or the accredited programs. So these are that the highlighted of that the benefits that are be already given on that the NBA website, that accredited institution or that the program that offers the highest quality of that the education which is be available. The accredited institute or that the program, it strengthens the consumer's confidence, employers value degree of that the accredited program to the most. Then accreditation helps the institution to know their strengths, weaknesses, and the opportunities, and pushes them to continuously improve their the programs and give them a newly sense of an direction, identity, and that the targets. As well as the accredited institution or that the program demonstrates accountability to the public, commitment to the excellence, and continuous quality of that the improvement. Now, further going with that, the process of that, the NBA. Very first, you are going to register with that the NBA website. That this is the website I have highlighted over here. Okay, this is the one-time process. After the registration, institute will get the user ID and that the password. Okay, so institute will get the temporary user ID and that the password. Then registration with this the process that requires the submission of that the few basic information of that the institute. Likewise with that you are which of that the programs which is be offered by that the institute. Then about that you are the student admission data. Further thing with that the faculty information. So these type of that the basic information which is be required to register with this. After with this, the permanent registration ID that will be provided after the payment of that the required registration fee. Now, once you have login or once you have created the account, so within that the 15 working days, institute has to initiate the registration process. So this is of that you are the process of that the what that you are the registration. Now further is that you are the step of that what it is called as that the pre-assessment step. Here, first you have to go with that the application for that the accreditation. So you have to select for which program you want to go with that you are the accreditation. After selecting with that the appropriate program, upload the latest copies of that the approval letter that received from that the AICTE or any other appropriate regulatory authorities, which is be duly signed by that the principal or the head of the institution. Then after filling of this the information, the next is that the pre-qualifier step it is be there. Now in this the pre-qualifier, the certain with that the information you have to enroll. These informations that program specific information it is be there. Then student admission related information is be there. Information with respect to the faculty. Important one is that what that the student faculty ratio is be there. Placement ratio. And few of that the compliance status it is be there, means desirable things be there and that the essential fees things be there. At this stage you have to pay 10% of that the total accreditation fees. Okay, so here in this at this stage 10% the fee you have to pay. Then after payment of that the fee and approval of that the pre-qualifier, then your the SAR it gets open. The SAR it is be consisting of that the two things, that the part A it is be there, that is be the institutional information is be there, that is be most of that the things that already you have filled in that the pre-qualifier. Okay, and the other institute related information is be there, and the important one is that the criteria related information. So there are the two types for that the UG programs, that the program level criteria is be there and that the institution level criteria is be there. Now one by one we will discuss about these part B, that is the various of that the criterias of that the NBA, that is the topic of that the today's seminar. Now talking about this the part B for that the UG pharmacy, total 9 criteria be there. Program level criteria 7 criteria be there, and the institute level criteria 2 criteria be there. So here with this we can see that for that the vision, mission and that the program educational objective 50 marks be there. Program curriculum and the teaching learning process 150 marks is be there. Course outcome and that the program outcomes 100 marks. Student performance 180 marks. Faculty information and the contribution 175. Facilities 120 marks is be there. Continuous improvement and that the student support, governance, institutional support and that the financial resources. So total of that the 1000 marks for that you are the part B it is be there. Talking about that the one by one criteria, the vision, mission and the program educational objectives. Now when you says about that the vision, this is the long term of that the statement, and that ultimately has to be achieved by that the organization. Generally most of that the things that the trust have a certain vision with that, So it is be expected that the institute vision, it must be parallel to the vision of that the trust or that you are the organization. Then another thing is that the mission statement. So mission statement is that there are the 3 to 5 of that the mission statements be there, and that with the help of this the mission statement you can achieve your the vision with that. Now another thing is that the program educational objectives is be there. So program educational objectives are being set by considering the vision and mission of that the trust, vision and mission of that the institute. So first you prepare a draft of that your the PEOs with the help of that the coordinator and in consultation with your the principal. So considering the vision and mission of that the trust, vision and mission of that the institute, as well as consider the program outcomes that are be provided by that the NBA. For the UG pharmacy, there are total 11 of that the program outcomes, POs, are being defined by that the NBA. So POs has to be draft considering all these aspects, that is the vision mission of that the trust, vision mission of that the institute, and the program outcomes that are be given by that the NBA. Now after preparing with that the draft, you have to consult with that the various stakeholders. The stakeholders like with that you are the trust, then principal, faculty of that the institute, industry, students and that the alumni of that the institute, parents, as well as that the professional body. So in a case of that the pharmacy, we can say with that the PCI is be there, EPTI is be there, like with that. And with the help of that, the final draft it is be prepared, that is be approved by that the principal, then with that the trust. So this is the process of defining of that the program educational objectives. Now after with this defining with that the POs, say that this is how that your the PO mission statement and the vision statement, these are being correlated one. So when we have, for example, in our institute, the one PO it is be there to develop a pool of technically sound professional by imparting the industry oriented education and research. So correlated with that, the mission statement is that to provide the state of art infrastructure and facilities to promote the quality research, and ultimately with this the mission we are achieving the vision that the institute of that the excellence. So in this way you can correlate with that you are the POs to the mission statement, and this mission statement further to that to achieve with that you are the vision statement. Now further, this is the consistency of that PO with the mission of that the institute. So here in this case, the mission statement of our institute we have divided in that the 4 parts. That M1 is that the quality pharmaceutical education, then promotion of that the research, leadership abilities, and that the social responsibility. So when we says to create the graduate to excel in the profession through this structured teaching learning system with a highly qualified staff and experimental learning in the key areas of that the profession. So here in this case, this with that the PO statement, when we are correlating with our the mission statement, so the 3, 2, 1 numbers are being given with respective to that the 3 is the highly correlated one, 2 is that the medium one, and 1 is that the low it is B1. So with this the mission statement, the first with this the PO, the first mission statement it is be highly correlated one, and the last with that the statement, the social responsibility aspect, it is be less, it is be correlated one. So in this way you can prove the consistency of that your the PO statements with your the mission statement of that the institute. Another thing mentioned with that the NBA, that it is the mission and that the PO matrix and the justification and that the rationale of that the mapping is be there. So here in this case, when we are going to map with that your the mission statement with that the PO, and here the justification has to be given. So when we are saying with that to create the graduates to excel in that the profession, so in the last slide as we have said, and this is be correlated with that your the to develop the institute as a superior center by providing the quality education. So how you are achieving this? By conducting of that the regular theory and that the practical examinations, class test, tutorial classes, assignments, viva voce, synopsis, seminar, as well as that with the help of that the industrial visits, guest lectures, conferences that you are organizing, industrial training that you are providing, as you are providing the guidance for that you are the competitive examinations like the GPAT. So with the help of that, so that's why we are saying this mission statement and that the PO, these are the highly correlated, and these are that the evidences. With the help of that, we are saying that this mission and that the PO statements are being highly correlated one. So likewise, for each of that you are the PO, how much of that you are the mission, it is be correlating. So the justification you can give, and you can prepare this the mission PO matrix with this. So this is all about that the first criteria, which is of that the 50 marks is be there. Next important one is that you are the program curriculum and that the teaching learning process, that is carrying the highly weightage of that the marks in the NBA. Okay, total the 150 marks it is be there for this criteria number 2. Now as here the criteria is be saying that the program curriculum. So what is your the curriculum, how you are conducting that you are the curriculum, various of that the teaching learning aids that you are implementing, and how that you are the teaching learning process is be there. So all these things are be included in this criteria. Now this is the program curriculum. Now as most of us are affiliated to the university, so the syllabus which is be defined by that the university, as we have followed the PCI syllabus, or in a case of that the diploma, the MSBT syllabus. So this is what that the syllabus that we are following. Now various of that the academic patterns that you have to give with that, like in that up to the previous year, in the B Pharmacy we are following with that the 2015 pattern that is be given by that the SPPU. Now here with this that the PCI syllabus that we are following, okay, 2019 pattern. So various of that the patterns that you have to give during with that you are the assessment years. Okay, then how you are delivering with that you are the syllabus, that how you are conducting your the theory lectures, how you are conducting your the experimental part, that it is with that you are the practicals, how that you are conducting. So all these are included with that you are the program curriculum with that. So mostly as that you are the syllabus content delivery is be there. So we are following with that the textbooks that are given in that the syllabus, then the reference books. Apart from that you are the syllabus, what other with that you are the reference book or that the textbooks that you are using, that also has to be mentioned. Whether you are using any research or that the review articles, research articles, suppose that you are using for conduct of any of that the experiment, okay, and any of that the official guidelines that you are using, like with that the ICS guidelines, suppose that you are using in your the experimental part, any of that the pharmacopoeia that you are using for particular what that you are the experiment. So all this covers with that how you deliver your the syllabus, okay, how that you are the content delivery it is be there. Now another part of that the NBA, it is be given that identification of that the curriculum gap. Now say that although that you are the syllabus, it is be defined by that the university, what that you are following with that you are the PCI syllabus. However, as a subject expert with that, as you are teaching with that the subject, so it is be necessary to identify that the curriculum gap, means what the contents that are missing in the particular with that you are the syllabus. However, you are thinking with that these things are that the important, these things are that the important to deliver to the student, or that will be helpful to the students. So you can conduct with that you are the departmental meeting. So with the departmental meetings with that the pharmaceutics, pharmaceutical chemistry, pharmacology and the pharmacognosy. So with and considering with that you are the program outcomes of that the NBA. Okay, so you just correlate with that you are the curriculum to that you are the program outcome. Now with the help of this the departmental meeting, you identify that you are the content beyond of that the syllabus for all of that the years and that the subject. Okay, review with that you are the syllabus, and with the help of that identify that the curriculum gaps, that these are that the things which are being not mentioned in the syllabus, however these are important with that. Now after identification of this the curriculum gap, you just think about that, what are the measures to overcome this the curriculum gap, and then you execute what that the measures that you are identified to overcome this the curriculum gap is with them. So here in this case, this is how that you are the curriculum gap and it's a fulfillment it is be there. So suppose that you are saying with that the teaching the topic which is be beyond to that you are the syllabus is be there. Few things be that with the help of that the demonstration of that the experiments you can go with that. Some of that the curriculum gaps you can that you have identified, so you can arrange with that the hospital visits, then cultivation farm visits, industrial training can also be solved with that any of that the curriculum gap that you have identified, or arrangement of that the seminars, workshop, conferences, guest lecture by that the expert person. So with the help of that you can fulfill that you are the curriculum gap. So one of that the example it is be given. So gap it is be the LCMS. So this is the identified gap. So here in this case the LCMS it is only be mentioned with that you are the syllabus. However, practical things are not be there with that. So you can arrange the industrial visit, and with this the industrial visit the students come to know how that the LCMS it is going to be get operated, and you can prepare one format with that, at what date you have conducted this visit, name of that the industry, how much student that you have attended this this industrial visit, and what are the relevance with that you are the PO. So which of that the PO that it is be fulfilled with that you are the this particular with that you are the industrial visit. So for example here given is that the 1, 4 and that the 11, that the pharmacy knowledge it is be there, lifelong learning it is be there, modern tool uses it is be there. So this particular curriculum gap it is be fulfilled with the help of this industrial visit. So likewise as given with that demonstration of that the experiments, arrangement of that the guest lectures by that the experts, you can fulfill the particularly identified curriculum gap it is be there. Moving to the next with that curriculum and its relevance to the program outcomes. So just you have to identify with that how much of that you are the syllabus it is be relevant to that the PO which is be defined by that the NBA. So for example the pharmaceutical subject it is be there. So the major of that the topics of that the syllabus it is consisting of that the pre-formulation one, the tablet, capsules, suspension, semi-solids and that the cosmetics. So with what that you are the interpretation, so you just assign with that relevance to that you are the 11 POs. Like with that the first PO it is be relevant with that the 3 it is be given. So maximum it is be the pharmacy knowledge that you are getting with this the whatever that the syllabus content it is be there. So likewise with that you are the communication and the soft skill subject it is be there. So how much of that you are the it is be relevant to that the PO which is be given by that the NBA. Likewise you can give the assign with that the number with that. The 3 it is be highly correlated one, second one it is the moderate one, and one it is be the low. And if it is be not correlating one, you can put the dash over here. So this is how that you are the curriculum and the relevance to that the PO it is be there. Now further thing is that the initiatives in that the teaching learning process. So the teaching learning process, so various of that you are the instructions, methods or the pedagogical initiatives that you can implement. So the teaching learning process it is be divided with that organization one, execution, and how it is going to be get evaluated. So whether what that you are the implementing teaching learning process, how it is be executed one, so finally you can evaluate with that. So in an organization you can prepare the academic calendar, then distribute the teaching workload with this, okay, then preparation of that you are the academic timetable is be there, and further in a execution the preparation of that you are the teaching plan it is be there, then preparation of that the course file, the content of that the course file I am showing in that the further slide, Then whether it is be required with that to conduct with that the extra classes for that the lateral entry students, in case of that the SYB farm, the diploma students. Okay, and then further how you are evaluating that teaching learning process. Okay, so whatever that the methods that you have implemented, so with the help of that the assessment of that the student performance, like with that you are in the university examination, in an internal examination, by conducting of that various the class test, assignment, or that the continuous assignment, so you can evaluate with that you are the how that you are the teaching learning process it is being executed with that. Now various of that the student centric teaching learning methods that you can use with this, so that includes with that you are the experimental learning, with the help of that you are the industrial visits is be there, training or the hands-on training on that the certain instruments or that the equipment. Then participatory learning, with the help of that the earn and learn scheme, or with the communication skill sessions, or with the assignments you can evaluate with that. Then integrated or the interdisciplinary learning, like these subjects like the environmental sciences be there, communication and that the soft skill development, and the other disciplinary subject, with the help of that the teaching learning can be executed with that. There are certain self directed learning is be there, like with that the short term certificate courses be there on the Google Classroom or on the Moodle. Yes, with the help of that the language lab, self learning, like with that displaying of that the charts in the laboratories, so you can get with that the self directed learning. And the patient centric and the evidence based learning can be executed in that, with the help of that you are the hospital visits, and with the help of that you are the certain case studies with that. This is the content of that you are the course file. Okay, this is one of that the example, and the essential things be there in that the course files that it is be explained with that. Like with that you are the vision and mission, PO, and that the PO statements. Okay, as it is be necessary to disseminate with that or display with that these PO, and your student must have to aware with this the vision mission statement of that the institute, what are the program educational objectives, so these are also included in the course file with that. Then the objectives of that the course, the academic calendar for that the particular year, the timetable with the highlighted of that the workload, then examination schedule for that the particular of that the academic year, year planner, and what the syllabus, the list of that the reference book, lecture notes, various of that the models, animations, the list of that the experiment. Suppose you are conducting the extra classes, so the record of that, question bank of that you are the syllabus, previous year question papers of that the university, its model answer, then record of that you are the assignments, seminar suppose that you have allotted its record, then class test if you have conducted, then the entry of that mass with the student signature, the sessional examination mass with the signature of that the students. So these are that the various of that the basic contents. Beyond to that also, if you find any important thing be there, yes, you can include with that you are the course file as well. Now talking about that you are the various pedagogical initiatives, so you can use with that the advanced teaching aid, like with that you are the projector is be there, then real world examples, and that the collaborative learning. So these we have divided this the pedagogical initiatives these in these three parts, that the use of that the advanced teaching aid, the real world example is be there, and the collaborative learning will be there. So this is how that the use of that the ICT methods in that the teaching. Yes, LCD projector that you can use, smart classroom. If you are the ERP system, so with the help of that the ERP you can display your the notes, as well as that you are the handouts of that the presentation, various of that the softwares that you can use, like with that the pharmaceutical chemistry you can use the VLife software, for the pharmaceutics design expert software can also be used with that. Use of that the augmented reality, this is the very new concept is that. Okay, however this will be very beneficial for that the student, so various of that the 3D models you can use with the help of this the use of this the augmented reality concept. The various of that the use of that the MOOCs in this the pandemic situation, maximum with that the Moodle and that the Google Classroom has been used. Okay, and use of that the e-journals or that the various of that the e-library sources, like with that the resources you can obtain with that from the British Council Library or the National Digital Library. You can also use with that the language laboratories. These are that the highlighted with that the ICT tools that basically being used in the pandemics. Okay, so Moodle based LMS, that is the Moodle, it is being used. Google Classroom or that the Zooms have been used. Smart boards, interactive audio visual tools, or that the pre-recorded videos or the simulated or the animated videos for that the practicals that can also be uploaded on that the ERP website as well. Okay. Now, in talking about that, you are the teaching using the real world example. So you can give the various case studies to the students. Okay, the problem based learning you can explain with that the students. Okay, and with the help of that, the students come to know with that the various aspect of that you are the subject. You can show the various videos or that the animations related to that you are the suppose that the any of that the instrumental part you have to explain. So with the help of that the various videos which are being available on the YouTube, so you can show to you the students as well. In a collaborative learning, so with the industries you can make a MOU with the certain industries and that the hospitals, and you can arrange the industrial visit for that the students as well as the industrial training for that the students. Now, the further thing it is be mentioned in this the teaching learning criteria that it is the encouraging the bright student and assisting the weak students. Now, say that the requirement for that the bright student as well as for that the weak student, these two things are that the different one. So, any of that the methodology that you are implementing for identification of these students. Okay, so these are that the bright students and that the weak students. Although the teaching in that the class, it is be common to these students. However, the extra things which is be required. So first you have to identify the need of these the students. Okay, what is the need for that the bright student, and then with that you are the weak student. You have to define certain methodologies that how you are handling your the bright students, that these things are be important to deliver or to give to that the students. For the weak students, it is be necessary to pass in that the examination. So to giving with that the important with that the question banks, then previous of that the question papers, to explaining them the model answer, then these can help to assist with that the weak students. So various of that the methodologies you can implement to handle with that the bright students as well as with that the weak students is there. Now feedback, it is be the part of that you are the continuous improvement process. So here in this case, how you are taking with that you are the feedbacks. So manual feedback can also be there. There are you can conduct with that the online feedbacks. For that you the individual topic as well as after completion of that you are the total of that you are the syllabus or that the course. The suggestion box also you can implement with that in your the institute, so that it has a direct access to the head of that the institute. Okay, so in this way, for that the continuous improvement, as a part of that the continuous improvement, you can implement the various of that the feedback systems with that. Now, initiatives related to that you are the industry or the hospital interaction, as previously mentioned, that you can make a MOU with the industry as well as that you are the hospital. You can arrange the industrial visit, industrial training with that, as well as you can call the industry expert for the particular of that the guest lecture of that the topic is be there. So with the help of that, student also get with that the familiar with that the various aspects of that the industry with this. Next thing is that you are the continuous evaluation process. So here the example it is be given for that the 2015 pattern. So how you can get with that you are the with the help of that the class test, assignment, synopsis, the viva host with the seminar and that the open book test. Yes, this the continuous evaluation can be done with that. Now, quality of that, you are the experiment is be there. So, one example I have given with that, the subject, suppose that the pharmaceutical analysis is be there, and if you are conducting the calibration of that, the UV spectrophotometer, so what the skills students have acquired. So, not only with that, the process of that, the calibration parameters, but as well as the students get familiar with that handling of that the UV spectrophotometer. Student get familiar with that what are the important parameters to be considered in the calibration of that the UV spectrophotometer, and what the instrument that is be involved in this, it is the double beam UV visible spectrophotometer. So in this type of that the format, you can explain the quality of that the experiment that you have conducted with this. So this is all about that you are the criteria number 2. The criteria number 3, it is the course outcome and that the program outcome. So in this criteria, most of that the things that you are correlating. So you are correlating with that you are the various of that the course outcomes with your the program outcomes which are being defined by that the NBA. So in this criteria, most of that the correlations things have been there. Now, first thing is the defining of that the course outcomes. So, example I have given for that the 2015 pattern of the subject of modern dispensing practices. So, the code it is be given for that C102, and for this with the help of that the syllabus, the course outcomes have been determined. So, total of that the 6 course outcomes have been defined for this particular subject. Okay, like with that the first of that the course outcome, it is the to apply the basic mathematical calculations in the compounding and in the dispensing. Now, after defining with that the course outcomes, so these are with that you are the 6 of that the course outcomes with the previous slide, it is be defined with that, and these are going to be get correlated with your the total of that the 11 of that you are the program outcome. So in with this the 11 program outcomes, each of that you are the course outcome, it is be correlated with a number of 3, 2 and the 1. So as it is be said, 3 it is be highly correlated, 1, 2 it is be moderately, and 1 it is be the low correlated. Okay, so this example explains with that how the CO and that the PO correlation matrix it is going to be get prepared. The further with that, the course it is be correlating with that you are the program outcome. So this is the course number, like with that the C102 for the modern dispensing practices is be there. So for each of that the course, how it is going to be get correlated with each of that the PO. So this is the matrix of that the course and that the PO for all the 4 years of that the study, it is be mentioned in this total with that the matrix with this. Now further it is the attainment of that you are the course outcome. So here in this case, you have to define with that the process that you have used to gather the data for the evaluation of that you are the course outcome. So what are the tools that you have used for evaluation of that you are the course outcome? Like suppose in this case, internal assessment examination, the university examination marks, class test, tutorial classes, various of that assignments, project presentations, viva voce, synopsis, and that the seminars, these are that the tools which are being used, and then attainment of that the course outcome is be there. So in this case, what the MBA defines, so first you have to set your the target level. So suppose that for any of that the XYZ subject, I have said the 55% is that the target level is be there. Now after with that you are the assessment, I come to know with that how many of that the students have achieved this particular target. So here it is be mentioned, suppose that 50% of that the students have achieved the target level, then I have to give that the one attainment is be there. So suppose 60% of that the students have achieved the 55% of that the marks, then the 2 attainment that I have to give with that. And suppose 70% of that the students have achieved the 55% of that the marks, then the 3 attainment I have to give with that. Now in the next with that you are the table, for this the subject of that the pharmacognosy of that the 3rd year, the attainment achievement it is be given. That one number is for that the low, 2 it is for that the moderate, and 3 it is be the highly one. Okay, so here in this case 80% of that the contribution it is for that your the university external examination, and 20% is that the weightage for that your the internal examination is be there. Now in the university examination 60% of that the students have achieved this target. Means here the 2 number I have to give. And in the internal examination 70% of that the students have achieved particular this 55% of that the target. So that's why I have given the number 3. And the 80% of this the 2 and the 20% of this the 3, that it comes it is be with that you are the 2.2. So for this particular subject of this the third year, the CO attainment it is be the 2.2. Now next thing is that once you are achieved with that you are the level, then you have to set the next target. And if you are not achieved you are the level, then you have to give the course action particularly for that, and for that the next year you have to go for that you are the you have to use the methodologies that what that the course action that you have given with that. If you have achieved this the level, then you can set the next level. So suppose that if I achieve the 3, then I can set that the next level, that may be the 60% or maybe the 65% like with that. Okay, so this is how you can get with that you are the attainment of that the course outcome is be there. Now further thing is that the attainment of that the program outcomes. So here in this case assessment tools, various of that the direct tools and that the indirect tools be there. Direct tools means what? Here the exactly with that you are the marks you can observe with that, like with that you are the university examination, internal examination, sectional examinations be there. So you are giving directly with that the marks is be there. However with that you are the indirect tools. So industrial visits, so based on the feedback of that industrial visit, the various of that the surveys like the student exit survey, alumni survey, parent survey, employer survey, or with that the industrial training, the feedback. So with the help of that you can manage with this the indirect tools. Okay, and further thing 80% weightage is for that you are the direct attainment, and 20% weightage is for that you are the indirect assessment. And with the help of that for each of that the PO you can prepare this the matrix, and you can correlate with that you are the each of that you are the PO it is be there. So this is with that you are the PO attainment be there. Okay, so in this criteria the matrix be there, the course as well as for that you are the program outcomes with them. The next thing it is the maximum weightage of that the criteria, it is this the student performance. So here in this the student performance criteria, so maximum with that you are the admitted students, is there the evaluation in that the examination. So what is the enrollment ratio is be there, you have to calculate the success rate without the backlog, success rate with a backlog for that the student, and the academic performance that the API you have to calculate from the first year to that you are the final year. So this is one of that the example it is been mentioned for that the calculation of that the API. Okay, so what is the API for that you are the final year, third year to that you are the first year it is be there. Then another important thing in this criteria, it is the placement, the data of that the placement and that the higher studies. So how many of that the student enroll, so out of that how many that gets get employment with this. So based upon that, for the weight, for the factor of that 40, you will get with that you are the placement data with this. Okay, and another thing which is be mentioned in this criteria, that various of that the professional activities that are be organized at that the institute for the students, like with that the conference be there, university sponsored seminars, various of that the alumni meet, orientation programs, pharmacist day celebration, like with that the various activities you can mention over here. The next criteria, it is the faculty information and that the contribution is be there. Now in this case the student faculty ratio it is be calculated, then faculty cadre proportion, qualification status of that the staff, and that the faculty retention, these criteria basically being involved in this. Then innovations of that by the faculty in the teaching learning, like suppose that by the faculty various of that the mobile apps it is be developed, various of that the animations developed related to that you have the syllabus content, self-explanatory PowerPoint presentation, suppose these are prepared, the various of that the test apparatus or that the models for that the teaching learning, if these are prepared, then these are included in this. Along with this, the faculty participation in the various of that the FDPs, short-term training programs or various of that the training activities, these are be included in this particular 5.6. In the research and development, the academic research like number of that the publications in the Sci Index journal, or the number of that the PhD students guided, awarded, then presentation in the research conferences, so that you can include in that the academic research. Then the sponsored research, that is with that the consultancy from that the industry is be there, or from the government organization, any of that the funding that you have received for that the research and development, that it is be included in this the particular criteria. Then various of that the development activities, like with that the product development is be there, new laboratory setup it is be there, various of that the instructional methods for that the teaching learning that have been developed, the various models, charts, etc. like with that, these are being developed by that the faculty for the teaching learning. Next thing about that, you are the faculty performance, the performance appraisal and that the development system. So how that you are the performance based appraisal it is be conducted in the organization. So at the end of that the year, how that the appraisal process is being conducted. Then various of that the facilities given to the staff, like with that the medical facility if it is be provided, various of that the incentive schemes be given, financial support it is be given for attending with that the conferences or the seminar, that it is be included in this the development systems. The facilities, this is be depend on that you are the what that the facilities with respect to the conducting of that you are the theory classes be there. So classroom provided with that the sufficient number of that the benches, as well as with that you are the suppose that the projector is be there or the boards, along with that it is be advantageous if the smart board it is be there. Then faculty rooms, the various of that the laboratories for conducting the experiments, that includes your the instrument room is be there, machine room, computer laboratories with the facilities it is be provided, drug museum, then the medicinal plant garden, the various of that or the variety of that the plants which is be there in the medicinal plant garden. Then the support for that the non-teaching. Okay, so here in this for that the non-teaching, so particularly what sort of that the incentives it is be given, like the suppose the loan it is be provided by that the organization, Diwali bonus is be there. For the non-teaching also, the registration charges for to register for any of that the training activities is be there. How you support for the skill upgradation of that the staff, like for that you are the for their the higher education is be there, or they are attending any short-term training courses for that. Okay, then the professional advancement, like the promotions based on their the experience is be there, or after acquainting with that the higher education. So this is the support for that you are the non-teaching staff. The next criteria, it is about that you are the continuous improvement is be there. So as the name continuous improvement, so this is with respect to the improvement with respect to the success index of that the student without the backlog. Then how that you are the organization it is improving in the placement and higher studies, the improvement with respect to the academic performance index for that the final year students, improvement with respect to the quality of that the student that get admitted to your the program, and based upon that the what actions that you have taken based upon that the evaluation of that the POs. So as you have POs that you have evaluated in that the 3.3, so here in this case the what kind of that the action that you have taken, like suppose that the PO it is the planning ability is be there. So as you the organization has set the target level 3, and the level that you have attained it is only the 2. So what the observation that you have seen with that the time and that the resource management of that, the abilities of that the students need to be improved. So you can allot them a time bound projects, you can allot to the students, various of that the lecture series you can arrange for that the students, so they can improve with that you are the how to handle with that the time and that the resources be there. Next criteria, it is that the student support system. So here in this case, how that you are the organization, it is be implementing this the mentoring system. Okay, whether you are the organization has the separate the counselor is be there, and how that you are the mentoring process is being implemented in this. Then as mentioned previously with that you are the feedback analysis is be there. So how you have evaluated you are the feedback, and based upon that what the corrective measures have been taken with respect to the feedback that you have received. Feedback on that the facilities, like the computer facilities be that it is being provided by you, other type of that facilities like with that your the canteen is be there, or suppose your organization it is be providing the gymnasium facilities. So feedback on these facilities and necessary corrections need to be there. So how you are implementing that it is the feedback on that your the facilities is be there. Self learning, it is a concept where the various of that the charts or that the displays that are being there in your the organization, like in the corridors is be there, or in a laboratory the particular things that is being explained with that. So this is with that your the self learning charts is be there. Whether your organization has the separate career guidance cell for that the student, training and placement cell it is be there, what are the various activities it is being conducted by this the training and placement cell, and it's the evaluation for that, and what is the outcome for these. Okay, like suppose that for the entrepreneurs or the various what that you are the entrepreneur sale it is be established, what are the various activities these are going to be get conducted, and what is the outcome of this. Like suppose you can track on that the various co-curriculum and that the extracurricular activities that has been conducted in your the institute as well. In the ninth of that the criteria, most of that the governance, institutional support and the financial aspects it is be given, that the information with respect to your the organization and that the trust, how is that the governance of that your the organization is be there, and the transparency with this. So with that you are the important is the government body, various of that you are the meetings that has been conducted in the government bodies and the resolutions that have been there. Okay, whether your institutes as having any of that the published policies are be there, procedures be there, like suppose HR department is be there, so HR handbook, various trust policies in the written form, recruitment and that the promotional policies be there, and how it is being implemented. So these are there in this the criteria 9. Then decentralization of that your the work it is be there. So various of that the portfolios these are assigned, various of that the responsibilities that are assigned to the staff. Okay, whether your institute has be there with that the grievance redressal mechanism is be there, various of that the institution committees like the anti-ragging be there, internal complaint committee, student council, like with that. Okay, and how that your the financial powers has been delegated, that how much of that like suppose that the principal having the power to use with that your the or handle the financial aspect, whether the HODs have been given the delegation for this the financial power. So how much is that the limit that you can define with this, and all these things were important with that your the balance sheet and all that, whether it is be available on that your the institute website. Okay, so the transparency and that the correct information in that your the public domain it is be there. So this is all about that your the criteria number 9 is be there. Along with that, library and that the internet facilities, number of that the books, the staff information for that the library, how is that the mechanism of that the library, internet service provided, how much of that the bandwidth is be there, whether the Wi-Fi system it is be there or it is be provided. So the information related with that you can explain in the 9.3. Now this is the important thing, that to get the accreditation for that the 6 years. So here in this case the program has to score minimum of that the 750 marks out of that the 1000. with a minimum 60% score in each criteria. So the 9 criteria is be there. So for each criteria, minimum 60% score it is be required, and total out of that 1,750 score that be minimum one. Then with respect to the admission, so the admission to the program under consideration, it is be required to be more than or equal to 75% for the previous 3 academic years, including the current academic year. The student faculty ratio, it should be less than or equal to 1:15. Average for that the previous 3 academic years, including the current academic year. Then at least 1 professor and 1 associate professor is be available in the respective department during the previous 2 academic years, including the current academic year. Then placement and that the higher studies that be greater than or equal to the 40% for the average last 3 years. Then HODs must possesses the PhD degrees, and finally the number of available PhD in the department should be greater than or equal to 30%. Okay, so this is the criteria for the getting the accreditation for that the 6 years. For the 3 years, most of that the things are being common. However, here in this case, the program score should be minimum 600 out of the 1,000, that is the 60%. And in a criteria 5, you should have to score minimum of that the 40% marks. Then with respect to the admission, so for the previous of that the 3 years, including the current academic year, it should be more than or equal to 50%. And student faculty ratio, it should be less than or equal to 1:20. In this case, at least 1 professor or associate professor it is be required. In a case for that you are the 6 years, 1 professor and 1 associate professor is be there. And further, the 3 criteria, these are be the same one. Like with that you are the placement and that the higher studies, it should be the 40% or more. The HODs that possesses the PhD degree, and here in this case, number of that the available PhD in the department, it is be greater than or equal to the 20% with that, including the head of that the institute. So this is with that the criteria to get the accreditation for that the 3 years is be there. Okay, so this is all about that you are the information with respect to the SAR. Further thing about that you are the compliance. Once you are getting with that the provisional accreditation for that the NBA, so to the end of that the academic year, so you have to apply at least 6 months before for the compliance process. Means suppose that you are the total with that the accreditation, it is be ending in a June 2022. So in a January of that 2022, you have to proceed for that you are the compliance. NBA also make a correspondence with you that you are of that the particular accreditation, it is going to be get ended at this date. Okay, so you need to apply for that you are the compliance. Okay, so that communication is also be there from that the NBA. So in this case, the while in a compliance, so certain with that you are the institutional information, program information, and criteria wise compliance that you have to give. Like with that, how much of that you are the vision, mission, and that the POs it is be achieved with that information with related to the course outcome, and that the POs and that the curriculum design is be there. So this is what that the program information will be required in a compliance. That again with that the faculty information and the contribution, student faculty ratio is be there, faculty cadre proportion, participation of that the faculties in the FDPs training or the short-term training programs, research and development similar what that it is in a SAR, then sponsor research and consultancy similarly with that you are the SAR, and the student performance, that like with that the success rate is be there, API is be there, or the data with respect to the placement and that the higher studies that need to be provided with this. Okay, so this is all about that the various of that the information for that you are the criteria is be there. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sonone sir, for your informative session on discussion of the criteria of NBA. It was really nice session, sir. I am sure that it will be helpful to our participant to implement it at their institute? Can I take few questions from the participants, sir?
Sure, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So, first question is asked by the Mayur Sawant, sir. What are the NBA criteria for diploma in pharmacy course?
Okay, fine. So, say that for the diploma, I think there are total with that the 8 criterias be there. Okay. I think that the student support system, it has been not there with that you are the diploma criteria. And another thing is that as for that the UG pharmacy, it is of that the 1000 marks. So for the diploma pharmacy, it is for that the 500 marks is be there. Yes, so total 8 criteria is be there. So that includes with that the vision, mission, PO, then you have the program, curriculum, teaching, learning, the COPO is be there, student performance, and after that with that the faculty information contribution, facilities, continuous improvement, and the governance and that the institutional support. So these 8 criteria are there in the diploma pharmacy.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Another question is asked by the Khairnar, sir. Is there any marking for compliance report and visit?
Say that there is only marking for that the SAR be given in that the NBA. However, for that the compliance, no marking scheme or that the system it is be provided. Okay. After with that you are the compliance visit. The report it is be prepared. However, there are no marks as such like with that you are the SAR.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Any question? Any more question from the participant? Okay, thank you. I appeal to all the delegates to contact respected sir if any queries are there. On the behalf of MIT's Institute of Pharmacy, BKC Adgaon Nasik, I would like to thank you, our eminent speaker, Dr. Sonone sir, for making aware about the different criteria of NBA. The session was very informative. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
I request Dr. Sonan sir to accept the digital token of appreciation in the form of this certificate.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Further, by considering the time limitation and with the prior permission of the respective principal, sir, and our eminent speaker, Dr. Sonan, sir, I declare that the first session is over. Thank you, sir. For next session, I hand over the charge to the Professor Rahul Savai, sir. Over to you, Rahul Savai, sir.
So, very good morning to one and all. I, Mr. Rahul Sable, staff member of MIT Institute of Pharmacy. It's my immense pleasure to introduce today's eminent speaker, respected Dr. Santosh Bhujbal sir. Santosh Bhujbal sir, MPharm PhD, NBA and NAC coordinator from Dr. D.Y. Patil Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research Center, Pimpri, Pune. Sir has member board of study, pharmacognosy, faculty of Science and Technology, Savitribai Phule, Pune University. Also, member of 48-3 Board of Study, Pharmacognosy, Faculty of Science and Technology, Savitribai Phule, Pune University. Sir is working as a professor and head of Department of Pharmacognosy and Pharmacy Practice at Dr. D.Y. Patil Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research Center, Pimpri, Pune, with extensive academic and research experience spanning over 19 years. Development and evaluation of herbal and Ayurvedic formulation, isolation and characterization of phytoconstituent, and development of analytical method for standardizing your biotech product has his area of interest. Sir has an approved PG and PhD guide at SPPU. More than 32 research articles have been published in peer-reviewed national and international journals. 6 patent has been published up till now. He has authored 3 book and 2 book chapter up till now. Sir had also undertaken industry project of Mprex Healthcare and Ayush Healthcare from Pune. Sir has also reviewed national and international journals like Pharmaceutical Biology, Natural Product Research, Orientation in Pharmacy and Experimental Medicine. Sir has provided guidance for institutional accreditation procedure, NBA and NAC to government and private pharmacy college and delivered a lecture at orientation of faculty development program. Sir also awarded and recognized as Best Teacher Award, Professional and Urban SPPU 2021. Research Excellence Award 2020 by Institute of Scholar, Bangalore. Istam Baidyanath Research Award 2090 Best Technological Adaptation for Ayurvedic Classical Product Concept. Sir has also recognized subject expert, has delivered initiative lecture at state, national and international level. Sir has organizing committee member and keynote address speaker at 4th International Conference on Medicinal Plant and Marine Drug at Rome, Italy in June 2018. So I think with this brief introduction of today's speaker, I request Dr. Santosh Bhujbal sir, please start your session. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, one and all. Thank you, Professor Sabre sir, and very good morning, Dr. Sanjay sir. And I'm very much
Good morning,
thankful.
sir. Good morning.
And I'm very much thankful for giving me opportunity to be a part of this wonderful FDP. I think this is the first time I'm interacting with the MET College of Pharmacy. I had a very nice, what you say, coincidence with your college. When the college was recently started, few of the letters I used to get at my place. So that's just I remember this.
Bhujbal.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Most of the faculty members letter university they used to deliver to at our institute address. Then again I delivered back and those were the things which just I recollected. So again, once again, thank you very much, Dr. Sanjay sir, for considering me for this FDP. Just I will share my screen and please let me know whether it is being visible. Is my screen visible, sir?
Yes, sir, it is visible, sir.
And it has been transitioning?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just a few seconds. I wanted to confirm. So there are some few hyperlinks are there. Just please let me know whether they are being visible.
Yes, sir.
Is this visible?
Yes, 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 sir. It is visible.
Thanks, sir. Thanks, sir. Good morning, one and all, and I welcome all the participants for this very unique FDP initiative taken by the MET College of Pharmacy, which is the very need of the hour. And today, the session outcomes will be the participant, they will be able to understand what exactly the benefits of the accreditation are. Then process of NAC accreditation. Then what are the roles and functions of internal quality assurance cell, which is well known as the IPSC. Then what are the different resources which are available and how they are being used for this throughout NAC accreditation process. Then I will be also just highlighting what are the post accreditation responsibility on the institute once they get accredited, and few recent developments which are being taken into the consideration. Normally this NAC accreditation, it is for higher education institute. So why this higher education institute, they are being asked to get themselves accredited, or many of it is being mandatory. When we see the role of the higher education institute in the society, mainly this higher education institute, they are responsible to provide the qualified human resources to the society. So more qualified human resources, the quality of the human which is in the market, it will help to continue to grow. Then training for the research career. This is one of the main objectives, wherein the quality of the education institute, they will ensure that the students or whatever the product which are being in the society, they will undertake a good research, good scientific research, they will build up good collaborations, and it will help the nation to move ahead. Then accordingly, the quality systems in the teaching learning provisions are being made, which will be helping to promote international and national cooperation. So main aim of this higher education institute is to give a qualified human power, manpower, which are responsible to in the growth and development of the country. And that's why the quality consciousness is there, which is being governed by the government. And the main UGC is being governing the NAC. Then what is accreditation? Mainly this accreditation is nothing but it is a recognition and guarantee on quality, which is for the educational program institution by an external independent agency. Now, these external independent agencies, they are like NBA, NAC, these are the external independent agencies, and they are done on the basis of few criteria and impartial assessment. So, in the NAC also there are defined criteria. In our NBA there are also criteria. So, there are well defined criteria on the basis of which these accreditation procedures are done. And one important thing is that these accreditation agencies, we have to call them, right? It is not every accreditation is mandatory, but it depends upon the institute how to get yourself accredited. It is an institute initiative to get themselves accredited, so that they will understand where they are standing, what are their strengths, what are their weakness, and accordingly they will grow in a sustainable manner. Then specific benefits of any accreditation to institute is spikes of the brand value, right? Nowadays, as n number of institutes they are coming up, and quality, it plays a major role. So if your institute is accredited by NBA or NAC, so it develops a brand in the country, and more students they can be attracted, and more quality student you will get admission to your student, to your institute. And when we know that when the quality students are there, good amount of work, research work can also be generated, and which will be beneficial to the society as well as the institute. Once your institute is accredited, the faculty members, they also get benefit, and they become eligible to get financial grants from the various funding agencies, be it AICTE, then UGC. So you'll be able to get the funding grants, and you can faculty self growth is also there, as well as the institute can also grow. Coming to the student, they will always have an edge over other university students. If there are two students nowadays, many of the students they are applying abroad, right? And we are giving the letter of recommendations. So the student who is from the accredited institute, he will always get a benefit in selection process as compared to the non-accredited institute. Then nowadays there is lots of companies they are coming for the placement. So these companies also, they will look for the brand value of the institute, whether the institute has been accredited. Why they are going for the accredited institute because this accreditation, it symbolizes the quality. So the industry, they also get confidence. Whatever the students which are coming to industry, they are in the quality institute, they are being screened. There are certain practices which are adopted to the institute, which the institute themselves, they are ensuring for the quality product. And in this way, the student, they get opportunity to get placed in a good industries, as well as they get a good opportunity to carry out the further higher studies abroad as well as in India. Then in India, there are two main renowned agencies, that is NAC, which is run by UGC autonomous body, and NBA. And this THE World Ranking, these are the international ranking agencies. THE World Rank University and QS World University Ranking. Then just we will go what exactly is the some differences between the NAC accreditation process and NBA. So if you consider the accreditation, the NAC accreditation, it is advantageous because your whole institute, it is getting accredited. Suppose your institute, they are having a UG program, PG program, then PharmD like B.Pharm, M.Pharm, PharmD. So that whole program, they are being accredited. Whereas in NBA, only a single program is being accredited. Suppose B.Pharm, so only a single program is being accredited by the NBA. Whereas in NAC, whole institute is being getting accredited. N number of programs in the institute, they will be accredited. Whereas in NBA, only certain program, only single B.Pharm is accredited or M.Pharm is accredited. So the always advantage of the NAC is that your whole institute is getting accredited. Then criteria on which the NAC it is evaluating, there are total 7 criteria which we will be discussing in my further slides. Whereas in India, there are 10, program specific and institute specific. The self-assessment here in the NAC, which is termed as a SSR, that is self-study report. Whereas in the NBA, it is termed as a SAR, that is self-assessment report. When we look upon the evaluation scale, so NAC, it evaluates institute on the basis of 0 to 4 points, and accordingly the grades are awarded. Whereas NBA, only marks are being given as per the for each criteria, there are the defined set of the marks, and on that basis the marks are being allotted. Whereas in the NAC, there are allotted on the 0 to 4 only, and grades are being given. When we come to the validity, so NAC, it is always fixed for 5 years, whereas NBA, either it is 3 years or 6 years. There is a flexibility. Whereas in the NAC, it is always a fixed 5 years will be getting accredited. Then why NAC has to be done? During the UGC meeting, the UGC committee has been in this 532 meeting, it was held. So now they have come up with the what is the scheme, Paramarsh scheme. So this Paramarsh scheme, it was focused that every institution, it should be get accredited, and those institutions who are already been accredited with A grade and above, that is 3.5 score or above, they are being appointed as a mentors, and our institute is one of the mentor, and we are guiding 5 other institutions to get them accredited. So main objective of the UGC is that they want every institution shall get NAC accreditation with minimum score of 2.5 by 2022. And here you should not misinterpret. Every institute shall get means they have to go for the evaluation process. It will not that the UGC, they will award the institute to NAC grade, but the institute, they should be voluntarily applying, and they will get assessing themselves, and they will get themselves accredited. And during this accreditation process, the UGC, they are appointed some mentors who will be guiding them throughout the process. So the thought was is that the UGC also want each and every institution they should get accredited, so that that our country, it will be known as a quality based education we will be providing to the society, and we are ensuring this quality through this accreditation process. Then these are the 5 core values.
So I think there is an technical error. So sir will join within a few minutes. So please hold everyone.
Am I audible, sir? Sorry, there was a power cut.
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Yeah, just sorry for this part.
Yes,
Sir,
sir. No, sir.
Yeah, just I will share the screen.
Yes, sir.
Hope my screen is visible.
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Thank you. Once again, sorry for this interruption. The NAC, it works on these 5 core values, that is contributing to national development by providing quality manpower, quality human resources, then fostering global competencies. So by providing the quality education, the student, they get an opportunity to undertake a good research work and contribute in the scientific development of the country. Then not only the skill enhancement is being considered, even though the student, if they are having skill, but at the same time they should have a moral values also. So NAC, it is not only concentrating or not only focusing on the technical skill, but it is also considering the moral ethics, moral values, which has to be inculcated among the student. And again, the promotion and use of the technology. So gone are the days when the traditional teaching practices were being practiced. So during last 2 years, we all are aware that how the teaching has been evolution has been there, and by the use of technology, the teaching skills and teaching methodology can also be enhanced. And last is the quest for excellence. Always we should strive to go to do better, more and more each and every day. So on these 5 core values, the NAC, it is being working, and same it is being expected from all the higher education institutes which they are being governing. Then the current procedure. So this again, the NAC, when they are saying the promotion and use of ICT enabled technology, they are implemented at their end also. When we got accredited for the first cycle, it was just a pure qualitative one, right? But now it is completely online. Each and every procedure, each and every part, it is being online. So what this online system is being done, from the qualitative peer judgment, it has turned up all the data-based quantitative indicator, right? So what is the qualitative quantitative I'll be discussing. Then complete shift to the ICT based, everything it is being online. Then they are introduced the pre-qualifier. So when you submit the SSR, minimum 25% of the marks you have to score. And if you are scoring 25% of, then only the peer team, it will be considered for the visit. So this has been introduced. Then there are certain system generated score, and that system generated score, they are having the weightage of the 70% and 30% from the peer judgment end. That means the peer team members which are visiting your institute, they will only assess for this 30%, whereas the rest of the 70%, they are being assessed by the external agencies, right? This 70%, it is not in the hands of the peer team member. Peer team member, they are having only, they will score only for the 30%, whereas the rest of the 70%, it is being scored online through the system generated scores and from the external agencies. Then the NAC are also into the student satisfaction survey. Previously it was not there, and for each and every student, the NAC, they are being, we have to just submit the student data, right? The name and email ID, and the survey form, it will be passed on their mails, and the survey is being carried out. And this is the main component of the NAC process, that is the element of third party value. This is a data validation. This is called a DVV, data verification validation. This is an external agency which is being confirming or which is being evaluating your 70% marks, 70% data, right? Whatever the SSR, 70%, that is quantitative metrics, quantitative data, it will be evaluated by this DVV, and 30% qualitative, they are being evaluated by the peer team. Now we will try to understand what exactly the flow is. If your institute which is going for the first time accreditation, first they have to do the registration, and then once the registration is done, you have to submit your first IIQA. IIQA is what? It is an institutional information for quality assessment. So this is first step. We have to submit the IIQA report, and on the basis of approval of the IIQA report, you will be asked to submit your SSR, that is the self-study report. And then once you submit your SSR, that SSR, it will be sent for the quantitative metrics evaluation by the DVV process, right? This quantitative, it is being evaluated by the DVV, that is the data verification validation. And once this DVV approves that all data, then the peer team visit, they come, then the peer team, they will evaluate for your qualitative, that is remaining 30%, and then the grades are being declared. Just now I told you that before that you have to apply for the pre-qualification. Once you submit a SSR, minimum 25% of the marks, they have to be scored in your quantitative metrics. And if pre-qualification is, unfortunately, it is being failed, then again you have to start with the IIQA resubmission process. Then the IIQA, what is being asked? Here your extension of approvals from the statutory regulation, they are being asked. Then which university, what is the affiliating university. Then your AD certificate is mandatory. Then there are certain declarations which are going to be principal. And once you apply for the IIQA, within 15 days, you will be getting either acceptance or rejection. And then if there are some queries, then there will be given a specific time period to address that query or to satisfy the query. And then once the acceptance of IIQA is there, you will be asked to submit your SSR. Then these are the some IIQA components which will be taken into consideration: institute information, standing of institution, that is minimum 6 years or at least 2 batches has to be passed out to be eligible for the NAC, to apply for the NAC accreditation. Then institution recognized under 2F, 12B. Then what are the number of programs which are being offered? Now here we should understand the basic difference. Many of the times throughout the NAC, we will be coming across what is the program, what is the course. A program is one which is leading to degree. Like B.Pharm, it is a program. M.Pharm Pharmaceutics, it is a program. PharmD is a program. Whereas course means those subjects which are having credits. So each subject, it is considered as a course. And suppose B.Pharm is a program and pharmaceutics theory, it is your course. Pharmaceutics theory is one course. Again, pharmaceutics practical, it is another course. So those programs which are giving degree, they are designated as a program. And those through which those subjects which are having credits, they are designated as the course. So this difference, it has to be understood properly throughout the NAC SSR filling process. Then total number of teaching staff, establishment of IQSA and its functioning, and etc. It is being asked as a IIQA information. Then this is the fee for the IIQA submission. 25,000 fee has to be paid by the HEIs. Now SSR submission process. So after filling your SSR completely online, you have to upload it and you have to fill all the data file as per template. Right? Then once you upload the SSR, you have to pay first installment fees. Right? And the first installment, this is the revised fee structure wherein there is around 3 lakh fee, and first installment is coming to 1,50,000 plus GST. So this year will be when you will be paying once you upload the SSR. At that time only first fee has to be paid. No, not complete fee has to be paid. Only first installment of the fee is being paid. Then once your SSR is being uploaded, immediately DVV, that is data verification validation, it process start. Simultaneously, the SSS process and bibliometric process will be start. This SSS, it is nothing but is the student satisfaction process. And bibliometric data means in the criteria 3, we are giving details of the research publications, then how many books are being authored by the faculty member. So these data publication present, then books authored, consultancy, these all data, it will be again verified by the external agency, that is the INFLIPNet. Okay, so our data, quantitative data, first it will be validated the DVV, and among that publication data, it will be verified by the INFLIPNet. So this is the process. This is a stringent process, and you have to go through all this one. So once you submit your SSR, DVV, and it process start, and simultaneously this AAA, that is student satisfaction survey, and bibliometric, it will be started. Any what you say, if the DV found any queries, and if you are not addressing that, then there is a possible that your application, it may be withdrawal, and whatever the fees which is being paid, it will be fortified. Then once if SSR is done, DVV is done, and if you are satisfying all the inputs which is being given by the DVV, then you are allowed to take the peer team visit, and then further qualitative assessment is being done. So this is the SSR submission process. Now just we talk about the student satisfaction, how it is being conducted. So basically the institution, they are submitting all the student data before the submission of the during the submission of SSR. This questionnaire, student satisfaction survey questionnaire, is already on the website. There are around 20 objective question and 1 subjective question will be asked, and the student, they will be emailed. So first they will initiate 30% only student, and accordingly they will send activation link to the student, and they will monitor for this survey. So first only monitor survey for 10%, and if a satisfied response is there, then they will go ahead. If the response is not there, then what they will do, they will send the survey to all remaining 70 students. So institute, they should ensure that at the student satisfaction survey form, right? The faculty member, they should be distributed, and accordingly you should ensure that during the first step only the student satisfaction survey should be complete. If the response is very less, then again it may happen that each and every student they will again send. So always try that at the first step only the student satisfaction survey, it is being satisfactorily completed by all the students. So you should be sending periodic alert to the student, and you should be in constant touch with the student whether they are received or not. Then is there any difficulty in filling the form? Then you should orient the student. Prior to that, you should orient the student what are the details of that form. This form, it is available on the website, and that form, it has to be discussed with the student so that they will understand the each and every part, and it will be easy to fill that form. Then coming to the DVV process. So as soon as you are uploading the SSR DVV start, then DVV, if there is deviations, are it identify the deviation, and it submit the deviation report to the institute, and it asks the institute to clarify, and there is a time span given. So after submission of SSR within 8 to 10 days, and DVV, it goes through it, and 15 days time is given to answer the queries which are being given to you by the DVV. And that answers, there should be given with the supporting document. Whatever the document it is being asked, it has to be provided, and we should ensure that DVV are being satisfied by the queries. Then once the DVV, they are satisfied by the response submitted by the institute, then they will submit their final report to the NAC, and further peer team visit is being conducted. Then what is the non-response obligations on the institute, right? If institute is not able to respond to DVV, then it is considered as a non-response. Then if you are not providing the documents which are being asked, or you are just only partially responding to the clarification, then they will consider that this is a non-response. So whatever the queries which are being asked, it should be addressed completely and with full supporting document. If you're not doing this, then such cases, it will be considered as a withdrawn from the process, and all the fees, it will be fortified, and you will not be allowed to apply after 1 year. You will be allowed to apply only after completion of 1 year. So you should be very careful whenever you are responding to the DVV, right? There are certain timelines which has to be strictly followed, and if you're not following that, it may happen that DVV, they will give remark that this is a non-response, and they can withdraw your application process. Then pre-qualification, minimum 25% of the quantitative metrics after DVV, and this is excluding this AAA, that is student satisfaction survey. And after that pre-qualification, the institute is asked to set 3 set of days for the peer team visit, and you need to provide nearest hotel details. And then before peer team visit is scheduled, you have to pay remaining second installment of the SSR fee. First fees, it was paid when you had uploaded the SSR, and second installment it has to pay before peer team visit, along with that logistic fees. So these are the general timelines which has to be followed. Once you submit, first after registration, you have to submit your IAQA. IAQA response, it is coming within 15 days. Then once the IAQA response is there, within 45 days, you have to submit your SSR, right? So institute should always ensure that when they are submitting the IIQA report, at that time only you should be fully prepared by your SSR. Your SSR should be complete, and then only you go ahead for the submission of IIQA. It should not happen that after IIQA submission you will be again preparing for that, because time span is very less. Okay, so better way, first prepare completely, thoroughly prepare your SSR and then submit for the IIQA. Once SSR is submitted, within 30 days DV is there, and after within 30 days the peer team visit will be there, and immediately the grades or result is being declared. Now we'll come into the see what are the metrics and key indicators. Okay, so for the NAC, there is a types of higher education which are, this NAC is applicable for the universities, autonomous colleges, then affiliated college. In the affiliated college also they are separated to two types. First is the UG and second is the PG. For all these colleges there are 7 criteria which are common. So what, and 7 criteria, these are the key indicators, qualitative metric and quantitative metric. Now we'll see one by what exactly mean, what you mean by the criteria and what are these key indicator, right? So 7 criteria are common for all. All means be it the university, autonomous college, UG college or PG college. Now these criteria, you can say these are the 7 main headings or 7 main chapters of the NAC submission process. So criteria 1, it is dealing with the curricular aspect. Second is the teaching, learning, evaluation, research, innovation. So these are the 7 criteria. This will be common for all, be it a university, autonomous, UG or PG college. So these are called as the criteria. And key indicators means these are the subheadings under each criteria. Now see, for example, criteria 1, it deals with the curricular aspect. Now key indicator means these are the subheadings. So 1.1, it is the curriculum design and development. 1.1.1, it is the curriculum planning and implementation. Here this curriculum design, it is applicable for the university, whereas for us, that is affiliated college, we are applicable for this curriculum planning and implementation. Then academic flexibility, curriculum enrichment, feedback system. So this is the criteria, and the subheading they are called designated as a key indicator. And this each key indicator, these are having the marks, that is a weightage. So here if you see this criterion, that's curricular aspect, they are having total of 100 marks, and from the 100 marks, the 20 is for the key indicator, curriculum planning, 30 is for the academic flexibility, 30 for the curriculum enrichment, and 20 is for the feedback system. So main set criteria, subheading, they are called as the key indicators. Then coming to the qualitative metrics and quantitative metrics, this is very, very important, right? What the qualitative means here, the description has to begin in 500 words. Okay, see, this is the question in the criteria 1, institution ensures effective curriculum delivery through a well planned and documented process. So here the answer has to be written in only 500 words. So whenever the answer it is been asked in words, it is called as the qualitative metrics, wherein there are no formulas. Whereas quantitative metrics, there are sheets or DBB formats. These Excel sheets are there, they are called as a data template. This data template is nothing, these are the Excel sheet, and for each quantitative metric there will be always a formula, right? You have to add your values and you have to calculate this formula. This formula is automatically calculated by the software. The main difference is that in the qualitative there will be no formulas. In the qualitative metrics you will be not asked to fill anything in the such Excel sheet. Here only you have to describe your question, describe your answer in 500 words. There is a word limit, and accordingly you have to answer it. Whereas in quantitative metrics, always there will be a formula and always there will be the data templates, which are nothing but these are the Excel sheets. And if you calculate this qualitative metric, they are having around 330 marks, and this quantitative metric they are having 670 marks. So out of 1000, 330 marks are for the qualitative and 670 marks are for the quantitative. That means this 670 marks, they are being evaluated, they are being assessed by the external agency, that is the DVV, and this 330 marks, they will be assessed during your peer team visit. Okay, so peer team visit, they will be assessing only for the 330 marks, whereas the maximum part, it will be assessed by the external agency, that is DVV. So you should be very, very careful whenever you are dealing with this quantitative metrics. Then there are different types of quantitative metrics throughout the NAAC SSR portal. So in some cases, last 5 years data is being asked. In some cases, last completed academic year data is asked. And whereas in some cases, there are choice-based questions wherein you have to just select them. Right? In this case, 1.2.2, there is number of add-on certificate courses during the last 5 years it is being asked. Right? Whereas in this question, if you see percentage of student undertaking project work, field work, internship, here data for the latest completed academic. That is, you have to give data for only one academic year. Whereas here, you have to give data for the 5 academic years. Whereas here, no data has been asked, but you have to select. So in this question, the teachers of the institution participate in the following activities related to the curriculum development. So these are the 4 options. Academic council, whether your faculty, they are being in academic council of the affiliating university, whether your faculty is setting up question paper, are they involved in the design and development of the curriculum, are they involved in the assessment or evaluation process. So these are 5 different options, and you have to select any one of the option. And this is also quantitative. So 3 different types of quantitative metrics it will be asked throughout the NAAC SSR filling process. Then these are the 4 important steps while filling the SSR. First step is the executive summary, profile of the institution, extended profile of the institution, and quality indicator framework. Very first thing, that is the executive summary. Here you have to give summary of all 7 criteria, and that summary, it should be not more than 250 words. This is the first thing. Then second, you have to give the strength, weakness, opportunity, challenges of your institution, and any other additional information you wish to give, you can present in this part. Then comes the profile of the institution. Here the general information is being asked to fill. We will see what exactly information it is being asked. So this is the manual which is being followed. And in the profile of the institution, first, this is basic information, it needs to be filled, and everything this is to be filled online. Then your status of the institute, it is affiliated or any other. Then date of establishment of the college, details of the UGC recognition, then details of the approval from the statutory regulatory bodies, then location, then details of the program which are offered. Here there is a list, whether you are offering undergraduate, postgraduate. Then apart from this, the number of teaching and non-teaching positions in the available at the institute, they have to be given. Then qualification of the teaching and non-teaching staff, then number of students admitted. Then these are the things which is need to be given in the institute profile. And those institutions who are being already accredited, so the previous accreditation details are being asked, and details regarding the submission of annual quality assurance report is being asked. So this is the mandatory information which needs to be filled in the general profile of the institute. Sir, slides are visible? Hello? Can anybody confirm? Is my slide visible to you?
Yes, sir, they are visible.
Yeah, please. Now coming to the very important part, that is the extended profile. So this extended profile, they are nothing but these are the denominators, right? So throughout SSR filling process, you are not allowed to fill the denominator part. You have to fill only the numerator part. This denominator, it has to be filled in this extended profile, and once you submit this information, it will be get locked, and after that no change can be done. Now what are the different denominators? So in the extended profile, the information which is asked on the program, student, academic, and institution, and here all maximum 5 years information has to be asked. So first in the program, you have to give the number of courses offered last 5 years, total number of students present last 5 years, etc. Academic information. So all this information, whatever the data you fill here, it will be the denominator. Okay, now we will see how this extended profile, it is affecting the information. So we'll consider the total number of students, they are 300. Now this number, it will be fixed. Now here question is average percent of the student enrolled in certificate or add-on courses, add-on program against total number of students during the last 5 years, and they have given the formula total number of students enrolled in the certificate or add-on program divided by total number of students. So normally what institute they think add-on certificate, so this is applicable for higher classes. Okay, so we will consider third year or final year. So what will be the strength of the third year final is 60. So 60 students are enrolled and total number there was 60, so 100. No. So this add-on certificate, it is considered for all and it will be divided by your 300. This will be common. There you will not you will not have flexibility to say that these courses are only applicable for the final and you will be putting only the total number of enrolled for the final year. No. So the purpose is that each and every student which is enrolled in the student, they should get advantage, they should be exposed to these different courses. Again, percentage of the student undertaking project, total number of students. Okay, here also same denominator will be there, same 300 will be considered. Then average percent of student participating extension activity, total number of student participating in such activity divided by total number of students. Many of the time what happen, few classes they don't take active part. So here when you're working with the NAC, you should ensure that maximum student participation has to be there in your routine activity, be it NSS, be it extracurricular, be it co-curricular, right? So it becomes a job of the institute to ensure and the faculty member to ensure that maximum number of the students, each and every class of the institute, they are participating. So if there are total number of more the total number of students, more will be the percentage. Again here also 300 will be your denominator. Then coming to the average percent of students benefited by the scholarship, here also again 300. Then average percent of students benefited by the guidance of the competitive exam. Normally what is going to happen, a competitive examination hai, so we will allow only third year or final year classes. But again it is not like that. So even though the student is in the first year, he should be oriented for the competitive examination at first year only, so that he will develop that thinking ability and he will think in that direction. So this is the main motto behind that. So again, number of students benefit, total number of students. So normally if you are only participating in the final year, then your percentage it will be low. Why? Because the denominator it is 300 out of suppose 60, then 60 to 300, very less percentage it will be there. So you should ensure that whatever the number which you are filling in the this numerator part, it is being addressed, it is being filled very cautiously. Then qualitative indicator framework. So these are different criteria, just these are the 7 criteria and this is the weightage. After the extended profile, you have to fill the details of each criteria, right? So curricular aspect, here the weightage is 25, 75, 100. So in this way, there are total 330 qualitative metrics and 670 quantitative metrics. Total it comes to the 1000, and this 670 it is being assessed by the DVV, that is the external agency. Now again, for the affiliated institute, there is one more option. For one more flexibility, there is somewhat called as optional metrics. So there are few criteria where if the institute feels that this part it is not much at my institute, right? So here I am weaker, right? There is no sufficient data, so you can opt such metrics. Okay, but there are certain guidelines how to use these optional metrics. So first and most important is that the metrics which you are opting out, it should not exceed 30 weightage. That is only 30 marks out of 1000. Only 30 marks question it can be opted out, right? That too, those questions which are having weightage of 10, only they can be opted. So if the weightage is more than 10 marks, that question you can't opt. Only maximum 10 or less than 10 only question it can be opted out. If suppose a question is having 25 marks or 30 marks, you can't opt it out. Okay, only the question bearing maximum of 10 marks, only such question they can be opted out. Then one more important, from the criteria 1, 2 and 7. 1, it deals with the curricular aspect. 2, it deals with the teaching learning process. And 7, it deals with the institutional practices. So the metrics from these 3 criteria, they can't be opted out. Again, which metrics you can opt, there is also guideline for this. Okay, in the appendix 4, they are mentioned the guidelines. So see, this is the optional metrics for PG college. So around in the 3.1.2, percentage of teacher recognized research guide latest. So you can opt this question. Why? Because the mask it is 5. So the optional metrics, they can be opted out only in the given list only, which are listed here. That is this 16 one. This only 15 questions they can be opted out. Again, this is for the UG PG colleges, and same is for the UG college. They have designed, they have designated which metrics they can be opted out, and you have to select in from this list only. Other than list, you can't opt out. Other than this, it is everything, it is being mandatory. Then once you opted out, then the calculation of the CGPA, it will be done excluding this 3%. If you are opting 30 marks, then 1000 minus 30, 970. So your final calculation, it will be done out of 970. So this is the one of the advantage of the having the optional metrics. Then assessment outcome. What is how your whole project will be evaluated, right? And how the peer team report they will give, they are designing. So this report, it is bifurcated into 4 sections. Section 1, 2, 3 and 4. So in the section 1, they give the gender information. Then section 2, they are giving the criteria wise analysis for each 7 criteria. So for each criteria, they will give their analysis in forms of bullet. Then in section 3, they will give your overall analysis, what are the strength, weakness. And in the section 4, they will give their recommendations. Okay, and recommendation they have to give in 10 points only. Now, how this calculation is being done, Cgpa calculation. So mainly this 70% score, it is being coming through the system, that is SGS, from the DBB. Then sums of the score, they will be coming from the student satisfaction survey, and then both of them will be compiled, and all these criteria, they will be assessed on a 5-point scale, that is 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now suppose we'll take the example. So this is the criteria 1, and in the, that is, these are the 4 key indicators. So in the 1.1, the weightage which is being allotted, it is 20, and the institute, they are being given the grade 60, then academic flexibility 30. How this 60 is coming? So we will say 20, it is the set criteria, set marks have been fixed. Now if the suppose the peer team or the system, they are giving 3 marks here, so 20 into 3, you have to give the marks on 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 only, right? So in this case, the marks they are being allotted, they were the 3, that's why 20 into 3 60, 30 into 4 120, so it comes to the 350. So 350 divided by 100, it is coming 3.5. So this is your 3.5 grade for criteria 1. Accordingly, for all 7 criteria, it is being calculated. And then the total, it is being, now see here, the grade it is denominator 972, because here they might have opted. Okay, so that's why 972 is there, and final mark it is 3.17 grade, and according to this 3.7, the institution, it is getting the A grade. So how this grade it is being determined? So if the institution scoring Cgpa 3.51 to 4, they will be designated as A++, 3.26 to 3.5 A+, 3.01 to 3.25 A accordingly. So in this way, the grades and Cgpa it is being calculated. Now, in the NAAC process, this IQAC, they play a very, very important role. Many of them, it is said that when the institute is going for the first time accreditation, this having IQAC, it is not mandatory. but always having IQAC, it will give an added advantage. Okay, so there are certain guidelines which are being given on the NAC website how to create this IQAC cell, that is internal quality assurance cell in your institute, and how the IQAC is being functioning. So mainly objective of this IQAC is to develop a system in the workings of the institute, wherein they will ensure that there are certain practices which are improving the academic performance of the institution, and administrative performance is being enhanced, and totally instead of functioning regarding the be it a quality enhancement, quality culture, introducing the best practice, all this IQAC it is being designing, and they are being licensing throughout the activities. The main functions of this IQAC is to set quality benchmark, which will be helping in the development of the institution, then creating a learner-centric environment. So to introduce the new policies, new systems, so IQAC can suggest so that the teaching practices can be enhanced in the institution. Then IQAC is also involved in collection and feedbacks, right? What feedbacks in the various stakeholders, right? Like student, faculty, employer, alumni, etc. N number of feedback stakeholders here. So how we are taking the feedbacks, and what are the mechanisms of taking this feedback, how it is being analyzed. So IQAC has role to play in that also. Then dissemination of the information, right? So anything information, it is being equally passed, licensed to various departments, so that the quality culture is being ensured. Then documentation, all the control is being governed by this IQAC. IQAC it is generally as a nodal agency, liaison and coordination. Then conducting academic audits, academic and administrative audits, keeping follow-up for the corrective action which are being suggested during the quality audits. The quality audit is that is when we call external agencies are being called. So this we are going for the NRF ranking. So what are the things which are being placed? Then what are once the grade is being coming, how the grades can be improved in the next year. So these all things it can be IQAC it is being governing, it is being channelizing things. And the submission of AQR, that is the annual quality assurance report, it is the prime responsibility of the IQAC. So having IQAC, it will be always advantageous at the institution. Then this composition, it is being given by the NAC. So wherein the principal, he will be the chairperson, and around senior administrative officer, 2 to 3 senior administrative officers are there, and 3 to 8 teachers can be involved in this composition. And these are some external representation, like management representative, one from the employer, one from the industry, one from the parent, and one from the local society member. So these will be the external members. And again, alumni member has to be one of the member of this IQAC, then student members and IQAC coordinator. Again, this composition, it will depend on the size and complexity of the institution, and it will, the number of teachers, it may vary. It may vary. It is not mandated that 8 teachers has to be there in the IQAC. So depending upon the size of your institution, and you can design this composition. Then whenever you are selecting the members, you should ensure that they are senior academicians or good industry personalities, entrepreneurs, so that they will give quality inputs, and which will help the institute to and students to grow and enhance the quality. Then a senior administrator from either examination in charge, library in charge, they can also be a part of the member team of the IQAC. And the members which are being nominated, their tenure, it should be 2 years, and after 2 years, again, they can be renewed. Then generally the IQAC meeting, it is being conducted quarterly, wherein first agenda, it is being prepared by the IQAC coordinator to take the whole responsibility of the conduction of this IQAC meeting, wherein agenda is prepared. Then agenda, it is viewed by the chairman, and if there are any suggestion of the chairman, it is being incorporated and agenda is finalized. Then once agenda is finalized, it is being communicated to all the members, and on the day of the meeting, the IQAC coordinator will formally welcome, and the IQAC coordinator, he will brief the action taken report of the previous meeting. And once this action taken report, it is being elaborated, all the members, they will confirm this meeting, and then actual discussion on the current meeting, it is going to start. Then again, during the meeting, whatever the suggestions, comments which are being given, they are being noted by the coordinator, and at last the meeting, it will be end with a thanks to the chair. And for the quorum, at least 2/3 of the total members has to be present for each and every meeting. And frequency, it is to be conducted, this meeting is to be conducted quarterly. again this meeting they should have to be uploaded on the website also. Then to ensure the good practices or to good enhancement, the team, the composition of the IQAC, who are the members of the IQAC, they should be involved in all these important committees of the institution, so that they will also have a good license. Then coming to the manuals and SOPs, right? All these manuals and SOPs, they are being hosted on this NAC website, and all the higher educations, they have to follow this manual. And for pharmacy, now we have to follow this general manual, right? So currently the manual which is being updated on the 4th February 2020, currently all the pharmacy institutions, they need to follow this manual. So for this manual, the notification has been issued for the particular. Previously, these pharmacy colleges, they were under the Health Science University, right? But after the Jan 2020, they are all been part of the general manual of the NAC. Then NAC, they are hosted some video tutorials, which are very, very important. And I recommend that before starting the preparation, you should go through this NAC video. There is a tutorial for each and every process, be it registration, IIQA, DVB, SSR. So just we will have a look. Sir, इकडून ते direct net ला connect होईल का? Is it possible? Yes, I think. See, this is the NAC website, and see, this is the registration tutorial.
Welcome to the video tutorial on the revised accreditation. Please open the browser and click
अरे यार, sir, my slides are visible?
Sir, it is visible, sir.
Can anybody please confirm?
Sir, it is visible, sir.
Yeah. So this video tutorials, they are very, very important. There's explained very simplified manner, be it a registration process, IIQA, DBB process, SSR. Then for extended profile, for each criteria, there are separate videos. So this will help a lot while filling the SSR. So in the same way, each you can observe all the video, criteria 2, how to fill the criteria 1, criteria 2, and other. So each and every process, the NAC, they have created video tutorials, which are very, very important. And what you say, it will smoothen the process of the NAC filling part, NAC filling SSR part. Then post accreditation, once you get the accredited, you have to fill this AQR, that is the annual quality assurance report. And this is mandatory once you are accredited, and every year it has to fill and it has to submit it online. Then currently the NAC is coming up with the new thing, that is provisional accreditation for the college. It is called as the PAC. So what exactly is what is the proposed objective? So NAC, they are under the process that those colleges who are very much new and there is some time to complete their eligibility. That is, we say that eligibility minimum 6 years and 2 batches to be passed out. But why to wait for that long period, right? So you can start the process right now only. So this is the provisional accreditation for such colleges. Here, the guideline what the colleges, they should have completed at least 1 academic year. They can apply for this PAC, that is a provisional accredited college. This provisional accreditation, it will be valid only for the 2 years. And here the evaluation pattern, it is on the 2 score, 0, 1 and 2. Like the whole accreditation is as a 5 point, 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Whereas this provisional accreditation, it will be having 0, 1 and 2 only. And the college has to mandatory score a minimum score of 15 out of 40 for getting provisional accreditation. And once you qualify this, your college, it will be either provisionally accredited or not accredited. And only this accreditation, it is for 2 years. So this is a new thing which will be very soon coming up with the NAC. So they are calling the feedback from the stakeholders. Now, how to get ready, right? Whenever we go ahead with the process, so don't start filling the SSR immediately. First, try to collect all the maximum. Whenever we go for the NAC, we'll start directly filling with the SSR. So please don't do that. These are my opinions. So don't start filling the SSR immediately. First, try to collect the maximum data, right? Last 5 years, collect maximum data as much you can. Then analyze the available information which is with you. Then read SSR of some good institutes who got the A+ grade, A grade. So there's a provision. So on the NAC website, you can also search for such good institutions. So here in the accreditation, just you have to click here. And here, say, suppose we say institution type, college, select state, say we will say select Gujarat, select cycles. So all cycle, accreditation status, these are the few options. Whether you want to see SSR of the institute whose IQ is submitted or whose SSR is submitted or whose PT schedule. So result declared will stay. And institution subtype, again we will say affiliated PG and above college, and we will suppose we have to say pharmacy, right? Here we can say we want only to see the pharmacy colleges. And show detail. So see here. So in this range, so we got Sri Dhanvantari Pharmacy College, who has been accredited by the B++. So again, click here, view. See, here everything is being seen. So if you want to see the SSR, then SSR information, you click here. I think there is some network issue, no problem. So in this way, you can view the SSR of good institution. But again, it has to be just used as a guiding tool. You should not copy the content. The content, it should be ours. But so referring some good SSR, it will help us to understand the question in a precise manner. Something in a question which is being asked, we interpret in another way, right? So if we refer such good institute SSR, so then we also get a guidance and we can go ahead in a correct manner. Then read and understand the glosses and observation frequently. Refer SOP, manual, tutorials frequently when throughout the NAC submission process. Then have regular interactions, discussions among yourself, exchange information with others. This is very, very important. More you're in exchange information with each other, the better and smooth will be the inspection. So during like INBIAN and NAC, the principal's involvement is only till the presentation. Afterwards, the coordinator has to take the things ahead. So more we have the discussion among our faculty members, more we share our information to each other, the smoother will be the inspection process on the day of the peer team visit. Then always ensure that you are preparing the SSR before submission of IAQA. Then whatever the templates which are provided by the NAC, you should not change in any way. You have to add the information in template as it is, and always try to keep good communication with the coordinator for a smooth process. And most important, be proactive and enthusiastic. Just I will share one video. This is a common, I think most of you have gone through this video, but I thought this is a platform to share with you. So in this video, we will consider that the dog it is nothing but it is our NAC accreditation process. The principal, he has taken the initiatives to have a NAC at his institute, but at the same time there are a lot of problems. Sorry, lot of what you say jumbles going in the minds of the faculty member. Many of the time there are misconception, right? बहुत documentation करना पड़ता है, बहुत काम करना पड़ता है, 12 बजे रुकना पड़ता है. So, but again, the principal, he has to be supported by proactive faculty members, senior faculty members, and through their support and a good external members who are helping the institute, who are giving good inputs. If you are with us, then this process of NAC, it will be very smoothly. And of course, this NAC accreditation process is not an individual one. It is a collective teamwork. And more involvement of the team is there, more success will be there. I wish all the best for the participants who are coming, who are there to go ahead with this NAC accreditation process. And once again, I am very much thankful for Dr. Sanjay Shirsagar sir for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this FDP. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. It is really a very informative session, sir. And I hope this session, it is definitely helpful for all the staff members which are listening to you regarding to their NAC activity. So, with your permission, sir, can I ask few questions?
Yes.
Sir, there is one question in the chat box. Rajendra Rati, sir. Question is, CO for theory and practical are same or different, sir?
Of course, different. When the course is different, course outcome for theory and course outcome practical, they are different.
Okay, sir.
What is course
sir,
outcome?
Again,
Generally,
yes,
course
sir.
means the subject. What the student, they will learn after the completion of this subject. So practical, we are getting the technical skills. Theory, it will be departing the subject. So course outcome for theory and course outcome the practical, they will be different.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, again, there is one question. Is it possible to club NBA and NAC on common platform rather than duplication of the work in the term of data submission?
Currently, no, but yes, there are some discussions. This can be, these is under pipeline, our new education policy, right? They are trying to frame a common accreditation policy, but currently there is no prohibition. We have to apply for the NBA separately and we have to apply for the NAC separately, because I had shown you the comparative chart, right? So marks process is totally different. So you can't club that.
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, again, there are many questions, but I just selected a few questions from that. Sir, how with the student satisfactory survey to be conducted?
Student satisfaction survey, it is not conducted by the institute, it is conducted by the NAC. What institution can do? Institute can orient. All questions, they are available, right? Format is available. Each and every question has to be oriented. जे काय फॉर्मेट नॅकच्या वेबसाईटवरती अवेलेबल आहे तेच क्वेश्चन नॅक पण त्यांना विचारणार आहे. सो वी नो द क्वेश्चन्स. ओनली द जॉब ऑफ इन्स्टिट्यूट टू ओरिएंट द स्टुडंट. देर आर सर्टन टर्म्स. Experiential learning. Is the institution having the experiential learning? A student coming from the first year, he doesn't understand quickly what is the experiential learning. So we have to tell them, in our institution we are giving the certain projects, so this comes under the experiential learning. So there are the activities, but terminologies are different. So we have to orient the students regarding the terminologies. Consultancy activities, so you have to orient them. So normal, a newcomer, he is not aware of such terminology. So you have to conduct orientation classes, orientation session, and you have to make what is a student familiar with the questionnaire.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. So now I request Dr. Umesh sir to please display a digital certificate. Yes, I kindly request.
Thanks, sir.
Sir, please accept this certificate.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I hand over this platform to Miss Anjali Tazanpure ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, respected delegates. Myself, Ms. Anjali Tazanpure, Assistant Professor from the Department of Pharmacology. Welcome you all for the Day 4 Session 3 of FDP, organized by MIT BKC Institute of Pharmacy. To attain the objective of our FDP, that is to make teachers aware of accreditation process of NAC, we have today with us our own Dr. Pavan Udhavan sir. Dr. Pavan Udhavan sir is an associate professor and head of pharmacology department in MIT's Institute of Pharmacy, Nasik. Sir has 14 years of experience with 19 national and international research publication, 10 national and international poster presentation. He has received 3 awards for his work presented in international conferences. Sir is also engaged as a CPCSA nominee in various institutes. He is member secretary in IAEC, that is Institutional Animal Ethics Committee of our own college. He is NSS program officer, and importantly, he is a NAC coordinator, MIT IOP BKC. He works at a ground level and knows in and out of each and every criteria of NAC. Today, sir will discuss with us regarding the criteria of NAC to get accredited. For the same, I would like to call upon Dr. Pavan Udhavan sir to take over the session.
Thank you, Anjali madam, for this nice introduction.
Thank you, sir.
From the outset, I once again welcome all the dignitaries from various regions of the country. And without any further delay, I would like to start my session. But before I can proceed any further, I would like to make a kind request that the information which has been presented by Honorable Dr. Santosh Bhujbal in the latest session has covered most of the aspects of the procedural parts of application and accreditation by NAC. So, as sir has raised the bar of information so high, I would appeal all of you to consider my presentation as annexure or supplement to the presentation that has been presented by sir. And with that note, I think I'll start sharing my screen. I think the browser has blocked the screen. There is a technical error. Kindly allow me to make the correction. Is my screen visible?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, sorry for that delay. From the outset, let me once again welcome you all for this presentation related to the various NAC criteria. Most of the aspects, like I have already mentioned, have been covered by Honorable Bhujbal sir in his previous session. In this session, I will cover various key criteria, key points, and the details that has been asked by NAC. Like the sir has mentioned, currently the pharmacy institutes are being considered as general institutes. Until very recent time, all the pharmacy colleges were considered under the health sciences, and NAC is coming up with the separate set of manual for pharmacy institute as well. But as of now, it has been recommended to follow the general category manual. Most of the things related to the introductory part have been covered. That is why we will directly jump to the criteria. So the first criteria, as we all know, is related with the curricular planning and implementation. So what is expected from this criteria? So as we all know, the curriculum nowadays for pharmacy institutes, or let it be any kind of institute for that matter, are being designed by the university and various statutory regulatory authorities. Then what is expected? So the effective implementation and planning for the execution of the curriculum is there in the hands of the institute, and that is what is expected over here. Because you must have noticed that several key indicators and criteria are common for both universities as well as institutions, so there might be a little confusion. So like many times it happens, design of syllabus, and as it has been observed that for affiliated institution there is no scope for a design of the curriculum, but of course there is a scope for design of some certificate courses, some add-on courses, and like that. So the key punchline for this particular criteria is curricular planning and implementation. So the effective planning and implementation execution is what is being assessed by the NAC. So as you can see, the first key indicator is curriculum planning and implementation, carrying 20 marks, which is further divided into 3 sub points, like the first one being the institution ensures effective curriculum delivery through a well planned and documented process. Nowadays everybody know that we have to prepare lecture plan and academic plan. Most of the things have been mentioned in some of our previous sessions as well. So this is a very good practice to plan the lectures and then deliver it. So if we have that system, then we can definitely get good points in this particular question or metrics. The next point being whether the institution actually adheres to the academic calendar. So again, it is an administrative and planning part of the curricular planning and teaching learning that carries another important weightage. As you can see, the 1.1.3 teachers of the institution participate in the activities. So this particular aspect of the criteria 1 assesses whether the teachers are having representation in some of the administrative and university level bodies. Moving ahead, the next key indicator of the first criteria is academic flexibility. So until the previous slide, we were talking about the syllabus being prescribed by university and governed by the statutory and regulatory bodies. So if there is a scope for academic flexibility, so this particular key indicator evaluates whether the programs are choice based, how many % of the programs against the total programs that are offered by the institute have the elective subjects or choice based credit system. And in the next point, the number of add-on or certificate programs that are offered during the last 5 years. So this is what I was talking about. Even though the syllabus and the regulations are prescribed by the regulatory authorities, the institute have a scope for introduction of various certificate programs and courses that can bridge the gap between the curriculum and real world. Again, the % of students enrolled in such add-on courses also carries a weightage. As you can see, 10 marks are there. That is why it is the responsibility of the institute to maximize the participation of the students and to attract the students by designing the certificate courses or add-on courses that can be very useful to update the knowledge of the students. The key indicator 1.3 is curriculum enrichment. So the curriculum designed by the university can further be enriched by the institutes, whether by integrating the cross-cutting issues that are relevant to the professional ethics, gender, human values, environment, sustainability. So the institute can design such certificate courses or add-on courses that will enrich the curriculum or maybe the overall personality of the students. Again, further, the average % of the courses that include the experiential learning through the project work, field work, internship also carries a weightage. So talking about the pharmacy institutes, we can design a kind of project work or say field visit, industrial visit, or some training part that can definitely add value to the knowledge of the students, and that can also help you in securing good marks in this particular criteria. So again, not only introduction of such add-on courses, but maximizing the participation of the students also carries a good weightage. Moving ahead, the another integral part of the first criteria is the feedback system. So there is undoubted value of feedback system in every organization. So it is important for any institute that it obtain a feedback on various aspects, like feedback on syllabus and its transaction at the institution from the stakeholders like students, teachers, employers, alumni.
And again, it is not sufficient to collect the feedback and stop over there. It is important that the feedback is collected, analyzed, and an appropriate action is being taken, and the feedback or the action taken should be available to all the stakeholders, maybe on the website of the institute. So that will again make sure that you get good score in this particular criteria. That was all about the criteria 1. The criteria 2, as we all know, is the teaching, learning, and evaluation, the most crucial and the criteria and grade deciding criteria, I would say. And as we all know, teaching learning is the backbone of every academic institute. And teaching learning, when combined with evaluation process, and the name itself is self-explanatory, becomes the backbone of the whole education system. The teaching learning evaluation carries 350 marks out of the 1000 marks in NAC assessment. That is another way to understand the importance of this criteria. It is further subdivided into various key indicators. The first important key indicator being student enrollment and profile. So as we all know, the number of institutes are ever growing, and there has been the demand and importance of enrollment. So the percent enrollment is important criteria, and profile of the student also carries some weightage. So the average percent of the seats that are filled against the reservation earmarking also carries some marks. That is the first indicator, student enrollment profile. Moving ahead, catering to the student diversity. Now, like some of you may have an opinion, like enrollment is not there in the hand of college, but yes, the importance of the NAC accreditation, NBA accreditation, NIRF ranking is just because of this particular aspect. If the institution is reputed having good grades and grants, then definitely the enrollment is going to be in proportion of that, and the diverse category of the students would be attracted to that particular institute. But the NAC is also going to ask you what you are doing to satisfy the student diversity. So we can say that the students that are coming to any given institute can have different learning levels. Some of them can be slow learner, some of them can be fast learner. So what are the plans to cater to such diverse kind of students? So a write-up has to be mentioned by the institute. Maybe the institute have several plans like tutorial lectures, guest lecture, industrial visits, whatever are the plan for the slow learners and fast learners, they have to be presented in this particular section. The next technical quantitative metrics is the student-teacher ratio. So that will highlight the importance of the faculty and the ratio of the student to teacher. Next key indicator in this second criteria is teaching learning process. As already mentioned, teaching learning is the backbone of any institute. The process that will nurture this teaching learning also carries high weightage. So whether the institute is adopting some student-centric methods like experiential learning, we have mentioned this repeatedly. So experiential learning has its own importance, and whether the students are experiencing some of the knowledge through maybe various technologies or virtual tour or hands-on training, or maybe through the training in an industrial visits, carries an important weightage. So participative learning, problem solving, like we call it as problem-based learning or evidence-based learning, particularly in relation to the pharmacy. So whether the institute is adopting all these student-centric methods is the point which is being asked over here. Moving ahead is the qualitative matrix 2.3.2 carrying 15 marks. Whether the teachers are using the ICT enabled tools. Now we all have realized the importance of ICT tools, particularly in this pandemic situation, and I guess all of us are using ICT. Even this seminar FDP is being being conducted on this ICT platform. So this is the point which is being asked over here. Moving ahead is the 2.3.3 quantitative metrics carrying 15 marks, the ratio of mentor to the students for the academic and other related issues. So every institute nowadays have mentors. The teachers are being assigned as a mentor and some of the students are being assigned as mentee for the overall development of students. So if it is there in your institute, then you will definitely get good marks over here. So after the catering to the diversity of the students, the next key indicator in the second criteria is teacher profile and teacher quality. So various aspects of the teacher or faculty members are being taken into consideration in this particular key indicator or this particular aspect. For example, 2.4.1, which is a quantitative matrix carrying 20 marks, is asking average percent of the full-time teachers against the sanction post during the last 5 years. So how many posts are there and how many of the posts have been filled? So that is another technical issue. Moving ahead is the next point, 2.4.2, another quantitative matrix, average percent of the full-time teachers having PhD or several other specializations apart from their qualifying degree. So that is the trend to continue the learning and to upgrade the education. If you all are upgrading your knowledge by pursuing the higher education, that is definitely going to help the institute to achieve good grades. And not only for achieving the good grades, but that will definitely ensure that the knowledge level is being raised, and that is going to help the students learning as well. Next point is 2.4.3, another quantitative matrix carrying 20 marks, average teaching experience of the full-time teachers in the same institution. So we know the importance of experience in any field. So as the faculty becomes experienced, that is definitely help to facilitate the teaching learning of an institute. The next key indicator is evaluation process and reforms in the evaluation. So what is the internal assessment mechanism that is adopted by the institute, whether it is transparent, robust in terms of the frequency and mode. So we all have various kind of examinations, let it be sessional examination, semester examination, continuous assessment. So what are the mode and method that have been adopted by the institute, whether it is transparent and robust, that will carry good marks. This is being qualitative matrix. The institute has to describe the modes and mechanisms that have been adopted by them in respect to the conduct of the examination. 2.5.2 is another qualitative matrix asking the mechanism to deal with the internal examination related grievances, whether they are transparent, time bound and efficient. We very frequently come across several complaints from the students, like their name is appearing, there are some errors in their name, or maybe for that matter in the marks that have been entered. So these are the grievances that are related with the examination. So what system or what is the policy that have been adopted and designed by any institute to deal with some grievances? Again, this being qualitative metrics, the institute has to describe their own mechanism to deal with such grievances. The next key indicator in the second criteria is student performance and learning outcome. So after the various methods for say curriculum, delivery and exam, the another aspect that is being tested in this particular criteria is student performance. 2.6.1 is another qualitative matrix asking the teachers and students are aware of the stated program and course outcome. We had a mention of the program outcome and course outcome in two of our previous sessions. and whether the students are aware of these program outcomes. Now every institute is taking efforts in creating awareness amongst the students and all the stakeholders regarding the program outcomes and course outcomes, so that every stakeholder give a justice to the achievement of the course outcomes and program outcomes. So here the institute is expected to describe the efforts and mechanisms that have been adopted by the institute for creating awareness related to the program outcomes and the course outcomes. 2.6.2 is another qualitative matrix asking for the attainment of the program outcomes and course outcome. So there are certain predefined methods for assessment and attainment of the program outcomes and course outcome that has been explained in previous two sessions. So the method of attainment of the PO and CO is out of the scope of this session, so I will not go in detail of that, but everybody nowadays is knowing the methods for finding the attainment of the program outcomes and course outcomes. Next is the 2.6.3 average pass percent of the students during last 5 years. So here the percent result of the final year outgoing students is taken into consideration. Higher are the results, good marks the institute should get in this particular criteria sub point. The last part of the second criteria is a student satisfaction survey. Dr. Santosh Bhujbal have already explained this part in detail, but I would further suggest that the questions that are likely to be asked in a student satisfaction survey are already displayed by the NAC on their website. All the institutes are required to do is create awareness and orient the students, like sir mentioned. We can have some orientation sessions for the different students, so that when they receive an email from the NAC, they will find it easy to answer those questions. Again, those questions can be a good guideline for the enrichment of the curriculum and development of the teaching learning of the overall institute. Moving ahead is the criteria 3, research, innovation and extension, carrying 110 marks, divided again into several key indicators. The first key indicator being resource mobilization for research. So after teaching, learning, evaluation, next priority, and not priority but the most important aspect of any institution should be focus on research and the utilization and mobilization of the available resources for the research promotion. So here various sub points are there, like the first one being grants received from the government and non-government agencies for the research projects. This will indirectly reflect the status of the research going on in the institute. Another matrix 3.1.2 is the percentage of departments having research projects that are funded by the government and some non-government agencies. Like we have seen that government agencies and the grants from government agencies have some limitations, but the institute can approach some other non-government agencies and explore their research in collaboration with such non-government agencies, can avail the funds from some non-government agencies as well. 3.1.3, another quantitative matrix carrying 5 marks, asking for the number of seminars and conferences or workshops conducted by the institution during the last 5 years. So this is another aspect of promotion of the research in any academic institute. So the number of seminar or conference that have been conducted by the institute is taken into consideration in this particular point. Another key indicator in this third criteria is the research publication and awards. So the research is reflected in another aspect, that is the number of papers that are published per teacher in the journals that are notified on the UGC website during the last 5 years. So there are various tools that have been used by the DVB and NAC to find out the papers that are cited in various reputed citation search engines like Scopus, Web of Science, and UGC Care. So naturally, if your institute is having more and more papers that are published in journals that have been listed either in UGC Care list or Scopus or Web of Science, then it is nothing but the great thing. 3.2.2 is the next quantitative metrics, asking for the number of books and chapters edited, volumes or books that are published, paper published in national, international conference proceedings per teacher during last 5 years. So it is inconsistent with the 3.2.1. So like that of the research papers, how many books or chapters or the papers in the proceedings of conferences are there for the institute per teacher, that is taken into consideration. Moving ahead is the next key indicator, extension activities. So after research, the extension activities is totally different aspect, but extension activities are the activities that are conducted by any institute apart from the curriculum and that may extend the reach of the institute to the society. So the institute is expected to describe a write-up in the matrix 3.3.1, which are the extension activities carried out in the neighboring community for sensitization of the students to the social issues and the holistic development of the students and impact of such activities on the overall development of students or maybe the impact on the society. So that is what is mentioned or prescribed by NAC. Here every institute affiliated to university have some NSS units or are carrying some or another kind of extension activities that can be explored and described in this particular sub point of the criteria. Next, matrix 3.3.2 is the quantitative matrix, number of awards and recognition that are received for such extension activities from the government. So the activities that are mentioned or described in the earlier criteria, are they really appreciated by the society or university or some government or non-government agencies that can be tested in this particular criteria? So naturally, the awards and recognition that have been received for extension activities can be mentioned over here. 3.3.3, another quantitative matrix, the number of extension and outreach programs conducted by the institution through the NSS, NCC, Red Cross or the YRC. Here it includes the programs such as Swachh Bharat, AIDS awareness, gender issues, and those that are organized in collaboration with the industry or community or some of the NGOs. So this is another aspect of the extension activities that can be organized in association of some clubs or NGOs or some industries. And another important aspect of this key indicator 3.3.4 is how many % of the students are actually participating in such extension activities. So there are certain institutes having many extension activities, but we must ensure that the maximum students are actually participating in such extension and outreach activities. Another key indicator of the third criteria is collaboration. So whether the institute has collaboration or linkages for faculty exchange, student exchange, internship, field trip or on the job training or research. So such kind of collaboration will definitely be encased over here. Another collaborative aspect is the MOU. So in this next matrix 3.4.2, the number of functional MOUs with the national and international institution, universities, industries or corporate houses is being asked for. Moving ahead to the fourth criteria of NAC, infrastructure and learning resources, carrying 100 marks. So the first key indicator being physical facilities, which is further divided into 3 sub matrices. First being the institution has adequate infrastructure and physical facilities for teaching learning. So this is the minimum basic requirement, that the institute have sufficient classroom, laboratories, and various other physical facilities depending upon the type and nature of the institute. So here institute is expected to describe the things, because 4.4, 4.1.1 being qualitative metrics. Another qualitative matrix 4.1.2 is whether the institute has adequate facilities for cultural activities, sports, games, gymnasium. So again, a description of such facilities is required to be presented over here. 4.1.3 is another quantitative matrix, percentage of the classrooms and seminar halls with the ICT enabled facilities such as smart class, learning management system, etc. So nowadays, particularly after the COVID related pandemic situation, most of the institute have enabled their classrooms with the ICT facilities like LCD projectors, lecture recording facility, and some learning management systems. So that is what is required to be explored over here. The next matrix is 4.1.4, average percentage of the expenditure excluding salary for the infrastructure augmentation during the last 5 years. So one of the aspect of maintenance of the physical facility, or one of the aspect of assessment of the physical facilities, is to see whether how much of the expenditure is being actually invested or used for maintenance activities. So infrastructure augmentation and maintenance has been given a weightage over here. So we see that there is upgradation of the physical facilities, then upgradation of some other facilities like the registration for various softwares, maybe in the library or various laboratory, and subscription of various journals, that is being considered over here. Of course, library as a learning resource is being considered in the next key indicator as well. So 4.2 is a library as a learning resource, where all the aspects of library is being taken into consideration. For example, 4.2.1 being a qualitative matrix, asking whether the library is automated and uses some library management system. So nowadays there are many modules of library management system wherein automation is being used either for issuing and returning of the books, or maybe for access to various catalogs that are available in the library. So here institute is required to describe the availability of such library management system. Moving ahead is the 4.2.2, another quantitative matrix is wherein whether the institute has subscription to the e-resources like e-journals, e-Shodha Sindhu, Shodha Ganga membership, e-books, several databases that are available, and whether the institute provide remote access to e-resources. So the institute can have such e-resources and can have the institute can have its own way of ensuring the maximum utilization of such resources by the students. Next matrix is average annual expenditure for purchase of books or e-books and subscription to the journal. So that is another reflection whether your institute is giving appropriate weightage to the purchase of the books or subscription of the journals and e-books. That can be assessed through this particular aspect. Next is 4.2.4, another quantitative matrix, percent per day usage of library by the teacher and student. So this is the point wherein the footfalls and login data for online access is being tested. This is nothing but to check whether the resources that are available in the library are being used at the optimum level or not. So maximum is the utilization of the library, then good should be the grades in this particular point. Next key indicator is IT infrastructure. All of us have realized the importance of IT infrastructure in this particular COVID situation. So in this particular key indicator, the first point being 4.3.1 qualitative matrix carrying 5 marks, whether the institution frequently update its IT facilities including Wi-Fi. An institute has to describe the IT facilities including Wi-Fi and the nature of the updation. Next matrix is a 4.3.2, another quantitative matrix, student to computer ratio. So another technical term. Now everybody have realized the importance of the ICT enabled facilities and computers even in the non-technical institutes. Another quantitative matrix for 15 marks is 4.3.3, bandwidth of internet connection in the institution. So that is another technical information which institute should provide over here. Maintenance of the campus infrastructure. So it is not sufficient to have good infrastructure, but the infrastructure should be maintained. So the average percent of the expenditure incurred on the maintenance of the infrastructure, which is the physical infrastructure, academic support facilities, and the expenditure is required to be mentioned in this quantitative matrix. The 4.4.2 is qualitative matrix, where the institute is required to describe the systems and procedures for maintaining and utilizing the physical, academic and support facilities, like how the institute is ensuring that all the equipments and all the facilities that are available in the laboratory or library or say sports complex for that matter are being maximally utilized by the students. So here a description of such policies and methods that will promote the maximum use of such facilities is required to be provided by the institute. Moving ahead is another important criteria, that is student support and student progression. So as the name indicates, the support facilities provided to the student and the ratio or percent of the progression is being taken into consideration. Another criteria which is very important from the assessment and grades are concerned, carrying 140 marks, again divided into several sub points. First one being student support, so again divided into 5 matrices. 5.1.1 being quantitative matrix carrying 20 marks, which is a significant number. Average percent of the students benefited by the scholarship and free ships that are provided by the government during last 5 years. So this is another technical information that the institute is required to provide. We all know that the students taking admission to the institute are being benefited by the government scholarship, and there are some other students which are benefited by some private scholarship as well. So we need to provide the concise data in this quantitative matrix. Moving ahead, 5.1.2 is another quantitative matrix wherein the average percent of the students that are benefited by the scholarship free ships that are provided by the non-government agencies. So in 5.1.1 the government scholarships are taken into consideration, whereas in this 5.1.2 the scholarship or free ship from non-government agencies is being taken into consideration. 5.1.3 is another quantitative matrix wherein the capacity building and skill enhancement initiatives taken by the institute. There are some instances wherein the faculty members or the criteria member may get confused, like in the first criteria in curriculum enrichment there are some certificate and add-on programs are being mentioned, and here the capacity enhancement or capacity building and skill enhancement initiatives are being asked. So many of the staff members may think that this is overlapping, but there is a clear-cut segregation that here the capacity building with respect to the development of soft skill or the communication skills, life skills and computing skills is being asked. So these are life skills, and in that particular criteria we were talking about the enrichment of the curriculum. So all the activities and certificate or diploma programs that are related to the curriculum are considered over there in the add-on courses and curriculum enrichment, whereas in this capacity building and skill enhancement all the life skill or enhancement of the skills initiatives can be mentioned. Next, quantitative matrix 5.1.4, carrying 10 marks, is the average percent of the students that are benefited by guidance for competitive exams. There are several competitive exams in pharmacy institutes. GPAT is one such exams, but students are frequently giving many competitive exams. So whether the institute have some mechanism for guidance for such competitive exams, if it is there, then it should be mentioned over here. Apart from guidance to the competitive exams, the career counseling, whether it is offered by the institute or not, is being asked in this particular sub point. Next is a 5.1.5, whether the institute has transparent mechanism for timely redressal of student grievances. So in our third criteria, the grievances were related to the exams, whereas in this particular criteria, there are general student related grievances, including sexual harassment, ragging cases. So every institute nowadays have anti-ragging committee and several other committees that have been prescribed by the statutory and regulatory bodies. So whether the guidelines are being implemented, whether the institute organizes wide awareness and undertakings from the on policies with zero tolerance, what are the mechanisms for submission of online and offline student grievances. So whether the institute have suggestion box or have some QR code nowadays to register any grievance or complaints, are various measures that are required to be taken by an institute and required to be mentioned over here. Next key indicator is student progression. So how many percent of the students are having placed? So average percentage of the placement of outgoing students, and in the next subsequent criteria, average percent of the student progressing to the higher education. So these are two basic aspects of student progression: higher study and placement. So it is being asked over here. In the next matrix, that is 5.2.3, the average percentage of the students qualifying in the state or national or international level examination, that are qualifying examination, is also being taken into consideration. The exams like GPAT, GATE, CAT, GRE, TOEFL are all being considered for that matter. The next key indicator in this student support and progression criteria is student participation and activities. Apart from the curriculum, what are the participation and activities for the overall development of the students is being taken into consideration in this particular key indicator. For example, 5.3.1, in this quantitative matrix, number of awards and medals for outstanding performance in the sports or cultural activities at university or state level or national and international level is being taken into consideration. So this the institute that will promote their students for participation of such sport and cultural events at the university, state, national and international level will definitely be helpful in the achieving higher grades in the accreditation. Not only in achieving good grades, but it is very and extremely important in the overall development of the students. Next matrix is 5.3.2, another qualitative matrix, wherein institute is required to describe the whether the institute facilitates the students' representation and engagement in various administrative, co-curricular and extracurricular activities. Like, for example, students are participating and representing on various bodies, which can be administrative bodies like student council or IQAC for that matter. And students are always participating in various co-curricular and extracurricular activities. So institute has to actually describe it in the form of a write-up. The next part of this key indicator is average number of sports and cultural events or competitions in which students of the institute have participated in the last 5 years. So here the number of events and activities wherein the students of institute have participated is required to be mentioned. The last part of this student support and progression criteria is alumni engagement. So what kind of contribution is being given by alumni, whether it is in the form of monetary or some other kinds of programs and workshop that are being conducted by alumni is being assessed in this particular sub point. Whether the alumni association is registered or not is also being taken into consideration while assessment. Moving ahead is another important criteria: governance, leadership and management. The first key indicator in this particular criteria is institutional vision and leadership. We have listened to the importance of the vision and statement of mission statement and leadership in the earlier presentation by my colleague Dr. Sandeep Sononia. That is why in the first sub point 6.1.1, the governance of the institution and the reflection and tune with the vision and mission is being tested. So here the institute is required to write up or describe the mechanism stating the alignment of the vision and mission statements. 6.1.2 is another qualitative matrix wherein the institute is required to describe whether the leadership is effective and whether it is visible in various institutional practices such as decentralization and participative management. So the small video we saw at the end of our previous session, if everybody participates, then of course the results are very appreciable and good. So that is what is the importance of the principle of participative management. Decentralization is another such management tool wherein the responsibilities are shared and good results can be achieved in any of the institute. So here institute is required to describe the efforts and policies for achieving the good goals through the effective leadership. Another key indicator is strategy development and deployment. So development of a strategy and its deployment is being tested over here. For example, in the very first sub-matrix 6.2.1, which is a qualitative matrix, institute is required to describe whether the institutional strategic or perspective plan is effectively deployed. So one such example is required to be given and the institute is required to describe it. The next qualitative matrix is 6.2.2. The functioning of the institutional bodies is effective and efficient as visible from the policies, administrative setup, appointment and service rules. So these are some of the aspects that imparts the values like strategy development and deployment and whether it is efficient and effective or not. So all the policies that are adopted by the institute should be visible to all the stakeholders, maybe through the website. And the administrative setup should be efficient for carrying out all the administrative activities like the appointment and various other staff welfare measures and regular activities of the administrative department. So organogram of the institute is required to be described over here. Next key indicator sub point is 6.2.3, another quantitative matrix, whether the institute is implementing e-governance in various areas like administration, finance, accounts, student admission support and examination. So nowadays the ERP system and some management system are being adopted by many institutes. Next key indicator is faculty empowerment strategies. So here, what are the strategies that will facilitate the empowerment of the faculty members are being asked. For example, in the 6.3.1, which is a qualitative matrix, the NAC is asking whether the institute has effective staff welfare measures for teaching and non-teaching staff. So every institute have some or other staff welfare measures that are required to be described over here. For example, the institute may have insurance policies, mediclaim policies, maybe offering some or other welfare measures to the staff members that is required to be described over here. In 6.3.2, which is a quantitative matrix, the average percent of the teachers that are provided with the financial support to attend the conferences and workshop and for the membership to the professional bodies is being required to be submitted. 6.3.3 is another quantitative matrix wherein the average number of professional development or administrative training programs that are organized by the institution for teaching and non-teaching staff members is required to be mentioned. So 6.3.4 is another quantitative matrix wherein average percent of the average percent of the teachers undergoing the online or face-to-face FDP during the last 5 years for the professional development programs or orientation or induction programs, refresher course or some short-term course is required to be mentioned. So this is another kind of the faculty development. That is why the data is asking for the teachers that are undergoing the programs that are FDP or some or other kind of the orientation or induction programs is being asked over here. 6.3.5 is institutions performance appraisal system for teaching and non-teaching staff. So another qualitative matrix, and we all know every institute have its own appraisal system. That is what is required to be mentioned over here. Financial management and resource mobilization. So what is the institutional mechanism for management and mobilization and utilization of the finance is being asked over here. For example, 6.4.1 is the whether the institute conducts the financial audits regularly is required to be mentioned over here. And in the next point, funds and grants that are received from the non-government bodies that are not covered in research is required to be mentioned. And in 6.4.3, the institutional strategies for mobilization and utilization of funds and the optimal utilization of resources is required to be described. Like our previous speaker have mentioned, IQAC plays a key role and crucial role in every institute, not only in the accreditation, but overall running of institute depends on the vision and the proactiveness of this system, IQAC, and it is not a standalone kind of sale, but it is a participation of all the important committees and the administrative as well as teaching faculty members which come together and form this internal quality assurance system to assure the quality of teaching learning in the institute. So in this particular key indicator, various aspects of IQAC are being tested, whether the IQAC meetings are conducted regularly, what is the significant contribution of IQAC are all taken into consideration in this particular point. Moving to the last criteria, institutional values and best practices. Some of the institutional values like gender equity, environmental consciousness, environmental sustainability, like the sensitization and gender equity programs are and availability of some sources of energy is whether it is available is being taken into consideration under the heading institutional values and the social responsibilities. The green campus initiatives is also being taken into consideration over here. The inclusion and situatedness is one such criteria wherein the institute is required to describe whether the institute utilizes its situatedness, its location and contributes to the locality and community, and to promote the inclusive environment in the institute. So whether the institute is promoting the tolerance and harmony towards the cultural, regional, linguistic, communal and socio-economic diversities is required to be described over here. Human values and professional ethics is another qualitative matrix wherein the institute is required to describe the sensitization of students and employees of the institute to the constitutional obligations, values, rights, duties. So what are the efforts? For example, everybody of us celebrates various occasions like Independence Day, Republic Day, and the various other days wherein we are indirectly inculcating these values amongst the students and all the stakeholders. That is what is required to be mentioned over here. So another quantitative matrix is the code of conduct. Every institute has its own code of conduct for students, teachers, and various other stake members, and that is what is required to be mentioned over here. In one more qualitative matrix, it is asked whether the institute celebrates and organizes national and international commemorative days, events, and festivals. So a description of various festivals can be given over here. The last but most crucial part of the seventh criteria is the best practice and the institutional distinctiveness. So here two best practices and one institutional distinctiveness is required to be mentioned, and it has to be mentioned in a way that the practices that are considered as best practices, they are implemented and they add value to the overall institute's ranking and the growth of the students. Whereas the distinctiveness, under this heading, the institute is required to propose one practice or any performance or any area that is stand apart or distinctive, and it is having priority in the institute and is required to be mentioned over here. So talking about the best practices, various aspects of the best practices like the objective, context, the details of the practice, evidence of success are the various aspects that are being taken into consideration by NAC. The problems that are encountered during the practice of such best practices is also being asked. So respected organizers, my principal Honorable Dr. Sanjay Kshirsagar sir, the MET Bhujbal Knowledge City family, trustees, Chief Administrator Honorable Dr. Shefali Bhujbal Madam, my colleagues, and all the delegates that are listening to me on this platform. I am thankful to all of you for giving me an opportunity to explain my views and guidelines that are available from the NAC website. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was a really great session. We have received some question. So with your prior permission, on behalf of delegates, may I ask you some questions, sir?
Please go ahead.
The first question is, what is meant by cycles in accreditation, sir?
Madam, cycle is like when we apply for the accreditation for the first time, it becomes first cycle. As Bhujbal sir has mentioned, for NAC, it is 5 years. So after the end of that tenure, when you apply for the next time, it becomes your second cycle, and so on.
Okay, sir. The second question is, can you highlight in some important matrices where institute will get more score?
In fact, all the criteria are important, but as I mentioned, the second criteria, teaching, learning, and evaluation, along with the research, extension activities, and student performance and progression are the three stand apart criteria as prescribed by NAC. We cannot say that this particular matrix is important and other is not. This is a revised accreditation framework. Every sub point has its own application and importance.
Okay, sir, one more question is there. How we can present the data smartly? So whatever we think is important, we can present it effectively in front of the assessors.
I would recommend that if you prepare the data in effective and smart manner, it will automatically be presented. Like it is not a matter of presenting in front of any peer team. It is the values that you should have instilled in your system. That is what is expected in this whole accreditation program. So if you make sure, because there are several guidance programs and several standard operating procedures that are available readily. So while you prepare for accreditation, and not even for accreditation, when you are preparing for your teaching, learning, and curriculum, you should follow these guidelines, and then it will automatically will be instilled. Like we all say that we should quality is not that is an end product, but it has to be assured. In the same way, the data, if it is prepared in a smart way, definitely it will have a smart lookout. Of course, that is my personal opinion.
Thank you, sir. As the regulation put forth by NAC are so ticklish that when anyone read it, each one make its own interpretation. So many a time what happens, one get out of the track. Sir, you explained the criteria so simply and easily that I think so all would have understood it very properly. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your inputs. I request Dr. Umesh, sir, to please display the token of appreciation for Dr. Udavan, sir. So please accept our token of appreciation.
My sincere thanks to Honorable Principal Dr. Sanjay Kshirsakar sir and all my colleagues and coordinators who directly and indirectly have contributed in this FDP. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, sir. So here is an announcement that we'll be having a short break in between now for the session 4. Please retrieve the session at 2:30 again. Link will be provided to you on the Telegram group. So I just announced that we have a break right now till 2:30. Thank you.